Chapter 704. What should I do? Wang Yao asked. Don't take the cold medicine, Wang Yao said. I'll prescribe another medicine for you, Wang Yao said. He thought for a moment and prescribed a medicine to stop diarrhea and dispel cold. Stop the diarrhea first, then consider treating the cold. Otherwise, you can't take care of both. Okay, thank you, Wang Yao said. Half of the patients who came to see Wang Yao had gastrointestinal problems. Summer was the season for gastrointestinal problems. It was hot, so people's eating habits had generally changed. They liked to eat cold drinks and ready-made food. However, food in the hot summer was easy to spoil. The ready-made food outside was not necessarily so hygienic. Many people were prone to diarrhea and other symptoms. Wang Yao thought he could make some pills to treat gastrointestinal problems in summer. He had actually thought of this idea a few days ago, but there were not as many patients as there were these 2 days. Dr. Wang, do you take care of the air conditioner here? A patient asked. No, Wang Yao said. No, how can it be so cool? The patient asked in surprise. The ventilation is good, Wang Yao said. The location of the clinic was assumed to be at a higher place in the mountain village. There was an open space in front of the clinic with no shelter. There was a house behind, but the foundation was lower than the clinic. Therefore, the ventilation was very good. Many plants were planted in the front of the clinic and the small courtyard. These plants had quite a wonderful effect. After the hot wind passed by them, it would cool down. Wang Yao also set up a battle array in the small courtyard, which also played a big role. In short, even if he did not use the air conditioner, his clinic was very cool. It could basically maintain a temperature of 25 or 26 degrees, which was the most suitable temperature for the human body. I think it's not as comfortable as your clinic with the air conditioner on. At about 5 p.m., Wang Yao sent the last patient away. Then, he began to think about the prescription for making the pills. The purpose of the prescription was to regulate qi, regulate the gastrointestinal tract, and clear away heat and stop diarrhea. Dark plum, atractylodes, Codonopsis, perilla, licorice. Wang Yao wrote the prescription and prepared the herbs at the foot of the mountain. After dinner, he took the herbs up the mountain early. Grinding and sifting was a repetitive process. It took Wang Yao one night to grind all the medicines into powder. By the time he finished, it was already past 11 p.m. Wang Yao washed up and went to bed. The next morning, he woke up early and had a simple breakfast. Then, he began to make pills. Medicinal powder. Ancient spring water. The medicine board was turned upside down. Repeat layer by layer. The pill in the medicine tablet slowly grew from the size of a rice grain to the size of a soybean. Then it was complete. The method Wang Yao used to make the pill was the simplest and most primitive method. He didn't wrap it with honey, so the appearance was a lot worse, but the effect was definitely not bad. In just one morning, he had made less than 100 pills and placed them in a few bottles. In the afternoon, the clinic opened. 2 patients came in, but they had summer headache. What do you do for a living? Looking at the 2 women in their 40s, their faces were red from the sun. I'm working with the construction team. I'm tying up steel bars, the woman said. You're still working outside at this time? Well, there's a lot of money at this time, the woman said. Yes, at this time, they could earn more than 200 yuan a day. Because it was hot, no one would do such work. The contractors couldn't hire anyone. They had no choice but to raise the salary to solve the problem. You're sick because you're tired, Wang Yao said. In such a hot day, it was okay to work under the sun for 1 or 2 days, but the 2 people had been working for more than 10 days. Wang Yao looked at the weather forecast almost every day. He remembered that it was a hot day recently. At the highest point, the temperature outside at noon was nearly 40 degrees. According to the relevant requirements, outdoor work was prohibited above 40 degrees. However, the contractors of construction projects generally didn't consider these things, especially in a small county like theirs. Who would supervise this? As long as people didn't die from the heat, it was fine. It was more important to meet the deadline. You need to rest. In such a hot season, try to avoid outdoor work as much as possible, Wang Yao said. Don't you need to take medicine? You don't need to take medicine or injections. Wang Yao smiled. In fact, what the two people in front of him needed most now was rest. Of course, they could eat some fruits, such as watermelon, to relieve the heat. The two of them left doubtfully. Not long after they left the door, the two of them received a call from the contractor, asking them to go to the construction site quickly. Thinking about what Wang Yao had said, they chose to refuse. Now you can earn 200 yuan a day at the cost of your health. In the future, you may spend 10, 100, or even 1,000 times more money to treat your illness. Many people did this in exchange for wealth with their health, but most of them regretted it later. Sometimes the world was like this. Let's go home and rest. This was their final decision. They were indeed tired. Fortunately, he wants cash, one of the women said. If it was in the past, the contractor might threaten them with their salary, but in this situation, they generally needed cash when they worked outside. 3 patients in the afternoon. Near evening, the weather suddenly became very hot and sultry. There was not much wind in the mountain village. The weather forecast said that there will be heavy rain tonight. You have to be careful on the mountain. Zhang Xiuying was worried. I know, Mom. Don't worry, Wang Yao said. Even if it was a heavy rain, nothing would happen on Nanshan Hill. There were so many trees and such low peak. What could happen? The rain started at around 8 p.m. At the beginning, it was not heavy. In the second half of the night, it became heavier and heavier. It began to thunder in the sky. Rumble, rumble. It was raining. Wang Yao lay in bed, quietly listening to the rain outside. The next day, the rain showed no signs of stopping. There was more water on the mountain. The reservoir at the foot of the mountain was quickly filled with water. Then, it flowed down the mountain through the flood channel. Because there were so many trees on the mountain, the water was very clear after being filtered. It was raining so heavily. Naturally, no one came to see the doctor. Therefore, Wang Yao was not in a hurry to go down the mountain. Instead, he sorted out the prescriptions on the mountain. Sanyang powder, primordial spirit soup, 9 herbs pill. These were all medicines that could be made without the use of licorice root. They were also medicines that would be mass-produced after the pharmaceutical factory was built in the future. Woof, woof. The dog outside suddenly barked. What's wrong, San Xian? Wang Yao went out the door. The rain falling from the sky was swept away by an invisible barrier about a foot away from his body. Chapter 705. San Xian barked a few times and then walked outside. Wang Yao followed him. After walking for a short distance, he heard a rustling sound in the grass. A fish jumped out. Wang Yao was stunned. What's going on? He knew that there were fish in the reservoir at the foot of the mountain, but the vertical distance from here was more than 100 meters. How could the fish jump out by itself? Looking at the lively fish, it was not small. It was at least 1.5 kilograms. San Xian, did you go into the water to catch fish? Woof. If it's not you, who is it? The rustling sound was heard again. Then, a snake appeared in front of him. It was as black as ink and as thick as an adult's arm. Xiaohei, did you catch fish? The black snake spat out its tongue. Okay, let's have braised fish for lunch, Wang Yao said with a smile. The black snake turned around and disappeared into the grass. Woof, woof. San Xian followed. After walking for a short while, he looked back at Wang Yao. Woof. I'm coming. Wang Yao followed with a smile. A snake, a dog, and a man went down the mountain and came to the reservoir at the foot of the mountain. Even though it had rained heavily last night, the water in the reservoir was still clear. The rain was still falling. The raindrops fell on the water, forming circles of ripples. After coming to the water, the nearly 3-meter-long black snake suddenly jumped into the water. It swam in the water at an extremely fast speed. Woof! San Xian walked back and forth on the shore. San Xian, you can also go down and try, Wang Yao said with a smile. He knew that San Xian could swim. In the past, when the weather was hot, San Xian would come down from the mountain and jump directly into the reservoir to cool down. San Xian shook his head. He sat quietly on the shore and stared at the water. Plop! Without the slightest warning, a carp leaped out of the river and fell into the water. Woof! San Xian barked. A moment later, the carp jumped to the shore and landed in front of a man and a dog. The fish was still struggling. It seemed to want to return to the water, but it was stepped on by San Xian. It could only whip its tail helplessly. A head popped out of the water. It was the black snake. Xiao He can catch fish and use this method? Wang Yao was very surprised. In less than 10 minutes, the black snake that dived into the reservoir caught 3 fish. 2 grass carps and 1 carp were not small. Very good. Okay, let's go back. He shouted into the reservoir. After a short while, the black snake swam out of the water and onto the shore. Let's eat fish for lunch. How do you want to eat it? Steamed or braised? Or soup? Woof! What do you mean, braised or braised? Okay, I'll listen to you. Wang Yao had been on the mountain alone for quite some time, so he often cooked and ate by himself. His cooking skills had been honed to a certain extent, so it was reasonable for him to say that. Animals on the mountain seemed to like to eat Wang Yao's cooking. After all, it was delicious. Let's go. Between heaven and earth, the rain curtain was connected. A man, a dog, and a snake. There was an indescribable harmony. It seemed that something was missing. San Xian, where is De Xia? Woof! Is he out hunting on a rainy day? At noon, in the rain curtain, the smell of fish floated. Oh, I hate the rain. I hate this broken mountain village. Before I came, who told me that the doctor must be in this so-called broken clinic at this time? At the foot of the mountain, outside the clinic, in the rain, several cars and more than a dozen people. A man wearing sunglasses and holding a cigarette was sitting in the air-conditioned car. He was cursing the attendant next to him. I have his Weibo here. Wait, he's not seeing patients today? What? What do you mean? Boss, it means that he's not seeing patients today, the man said. Oh, he's so casual about opening an outpatient clinic now. Is he so unprofessional? Why is he not seeing patients? I don't know. He never tells me the reason, the man said. Are we already here? The middle-aged man asked. Yes. Then find a way to get him to come out and see me, the man said. My time is precious. Every minute is worth hundreds of thousands. Yes, yes, boss. 2 men in suits got out of the car. Damn, boss's temper is getting worse. Keep your voice down, the man said. If boss hears us, we'll be dead. Do you want to be chopped into meat and made into buns, or tied to a stone and thrown into the river? What the hell are you two talking about over there? Oh, hurry up. Then, the question is, how do we get the doctor to come and see boss? His house is here. Let's go to his house. In Wang Yao's house, Zhang Xiuying looked at the 2 young men in suit. They looked very polite, but didn't they feel hot wearing suits in such weather? Yao went out. He's not at home, Zhang Xiuying said with a smile. Well, can you think of a way to get him to come back? My brother is very sick. Well, we can pay more. Okay, I'll ask for you, Zhang Xiuying said. She was a soft-hearted person. Sure enough, boss was right. Money makes the world go round. Sorry, my son said he won't be back for a while. Can you come back another day? Zhang Xiuying said after making a phone call. What's going on? The 2 men were stunned. Well, let's discuss it. What should we do? Go back and talk to boss? You're crazy, Zhang Xiuying said. Have you forgotten what happened to Ajie last time? Boss cut off one of his hands because he placed the flower pot in the wrong place. Think about the consequences if we go back like this. Well, Auntie, it's not easy for us to come all the way here. Can you talk to him again? You can talk to him another day? Zhang Xiuying said with a smile. The two men looked at each other and then thought for a moment. There's no other way. Swoosh. One of them pulled out a knife. It was shining. What are you doing? Wang Fengming rushed out of the house with a wooden stick in his hand. You see, we don't want to use this method, but if your son doesn't come today, the two of us will be in trouble. The more the situation was, the more Wang Yao's parents didn't want him to come down. They were worried that their son would be threatened. The situation instantly fell into a state of stalemate. Our patience is limited, Wang Fengming said. Our time is very precious. What's going on? A voice came from behind the two men. Boss. A man less than 1.7 meters tall with a round body walked into Wang Yao's house. What are you doing? What's with the knife? Are you crazy? As the man spoke, he slapped the two men in the face. The two men flew out and fell heavily on the ground. Their cheeks were swollen and 2 teeth fell out. Well, I'm sorry to have frightened you, the middle-aged man said. My men didn't do a good job. I'll take them to apologize to you. As he spoke, he took a towel to wipe his sweat. He seemed to like sweating, but he was wearing a thick suit. Is Dr. Wang at home? The middle-aged man's tone was very polite. My son went out. He's not at home, Zhang Xiuying said. What's your surname? My surname is Zhang, Zhang Xiuying said. Sister Zhang, look at us. We're not locals. We heard from a friend that your son's medical skills are very good. We came from thousands of miles away. We can't come for nothing, right? As the man spoke, he wiped his shiny bald head with a towel. Well, at this time, Wang Yao's neighbor happened to pass by. He saw that there were so many people in Wang Yao's house, and it was too eye-catching for him to wear a suit in such weather. He didn't ask much and quietly called Wang Yao. On the hill, Wang Yao was holding a small bowl and eating fish with his guardian general. What? Okay, I got it. Thank you, uncle. You guys eat first. Wang Yao put down the bowl and chopsticks and went out. One step, he covered dozens of feet. One moment, he was still on the hill. The next moment, he was at the foot of the hill. The wind and rain were still there. As far as the eye could see, a figure jumped in the rain. In an instant, it was dozens of feet away. Soon, Wang Yao arrived at the edge of the village. Outside the clinic, he saw several cars parked outside. The next moment, he came to the entrance of the alley. Damn, was that a person just now? I saw it. There he is. The people in the car were stunned. They rubbed their eyes. What's going on? Did they see a ghost on a rainy day? Chapter 706. The problem was not that only one person had seen it. Everyone had seen it. Where did he go? I didn't see clearly. It was still raining, and the temperature in the car was a bit low. The few people shivered. Oh, this weather. A man in his 40s kept wiping his sweat. Will people die if it goes on like this? After the man said that, the few people next to him were stunned. Brother, it's not good here, a person whispered. What's not good? People will die everywhere, the man said. Oh no, brother's illness is acting up. Get out of the way. At that moment there was an explosion. Oh my God, my head hurts. The people standing in the aisle all covered their head. It was very painful. It was as if someone had hit their heads with a sledgehammer. It was too uncomfortable. Who shouted? Who shouted just now? The leader of the group covered his bald head and shouted. Yao, why are you back? Dad, Mom, are you all right? I'm fine, Zhang Xiuying said. If you encounter such a situation again, just call the police. He looked coldly at the people standing next to him. Get out. Wang Yao shouted at them again. They were deaf. They were deaf. The few people had just felt better, but they were hit again. They couldn't stand. They stood there one by one. Their tears couldn't stop flowing. I can't. Go quickly. Bang. The person who went out first hit the door. Oh, it was not easy to get out. They finally heaved a sigh of relief. What was going on? They were dizzy and had a splitting headache. It was better to die. Damn it. The bald man suddenly pulled out a knife from nowhere. His eyes were red. He was like a beast that wanted to eat people. What was he doing? Was he going to kill people? Whoosh. The man with the knife flew out and hit the wall hard. Big brother! The few of them were stunned when they saw this. They couldn't stand steadily. They had to stagger to help the man who had collapsed on the ground. They didn't know whether he was dead or alive. Fortunately, he's still breathing. Do you know who he is? Chop him up. The bald man suddenly opened his eyes and let out a roar. He was like an injured wild wolf that was about to die. Then, his head tilted and he fainted. Looking at his subordinates, none of them could stand steadily. They were clutching their heads and foaming at the mouth. They were still slashing people. It was already good enough that they could walk out alive. Given the current situation, none of them had the time to care about their boss. They scrambled to get out of the alley, afraid that something would happen if they continued to stay here. Holding onto the wall, they rolled out of the room as fast as they could. F***ck, what's going on? The few people in the car were still in shock when they saw their companions scrambling out of the alley. Let's go and take a look. 5 or 6 people got out of the car and rushed over. Why are their faces all pale and their noses bleeding? What did they see? Where's boss? Yes, it's inside. The few of them looked inside and saw their boss lying on the ground. They didn't know if he was dead or alive. Not far away, there was a knife on the ground. The knife was twisted into a fried dough twist. What's going on inside? In a shallow alley, less than 50 meters, a young man stood in the middle and looked at them coldly. Yao? 2 more people came out. They looked worried. It's okay, Dad, Mom, Wang Yao said. You can go back. Leave this to me. They actually took out a knife. They didn't look like good people. Don't kill anyone. Wang Fenghua didn't forget to remind them. I know. They won't die, Wang Yao said. They could avoid the death penalty, but they couldn't escape punishment. This was not a place where they could behave atrociously. Take him and get out of here. Wang Yao's voice wasn't very loud, but it was like rolling thunder in the ears of the few people. It made their ears buzz. They hurriedly covered their ears. What's this? Buddhist lion roar? The few people lifted their boss and rushed out of the alley as fast as they could. They got into the car, started it, turned around, and left the mountain village. What's wrong with the boss? The few people looked at their boss, who was pale and bleeding from the 7 orifices. They were all frightened. What did you say? Speak louder. I can't hear you. I said, what's wrong with the boss? I still can't hear you. Forget it. We'll talk about it later. Go to the hospital, the nearest hospital. The people's ears were buzzing. They couldn't hear anything else. The car arrived in Lianshan County at the fastest speed. What's wrong? The doctor in the emergency room looked at the dozen people in suit. It was a hot day. Didn't they feel hot wearing suits? Where did the mud come from? Did they all like to jump into pits? Doctor, quickly take a look at me. I can't hear anything, a young man shouted. Damn, you scared me, the doctor said. Me too. The doctor was stunned. Why couldn't the 7 or 8 people hear anything? He checked them one by one. They were really hearing impaired. It was unlikely that they were deaf, but their hearing was definitely impaired. What's wrong with you? The doctor asked. Usually, this kind of situation was caused by a strong external stimulus in a very loud place. However, these people didn't look like people who worked in such conditions. We met a master in a village. A young man whose hearing was not impaired said casually. The speaker didn't mean it, but the listener took it seriously. Pan Jun, who came in from outside, heard this sentence. He looked at these people carefully. There were tattoos on their wrists. Their necks were also faintly visible. They didn't look like performance artists. Let's take a look at my boss first. Director. The doctor in the emergency department saw Pan Jun come in and greeted him. What's the matter? Hearing impairment. I think there's a slight concussion. This is not a small problem. He pointed to the bald man lying on the bed. His right arm is fractured and his ribs are fractured. I think there's also a possibility of internal rupture and congestion. Is it very serious? A few young people asked after hearing that. Yes, it's very serious. It may endanger his life. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and save him. Are you the doctor or am I the doctor? The doctor said angrily. You are the doctor. Hurry up. I beg you. Go through the formalities first. Don't forget to bring your ID card. Take him for examination first. The patient in the emergency department was in critical condition. The examination was priority. Soon, the examination results came out. The right arm was fractured in 3 places. 3 ribs were broken. The right leg was fractured. The spleen was slightly ruptured. The abdominal cavity was congested. It's so serious. Did he have a car accident? No. Seeing the results, the young people swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva. Oh my God, it's just the blink of an eye. Their boss is like this. That young man is really a master. The patient must be operated on immediately. Who are you to him? Ah, that employee. Yes, employee. Who can sign on behalf of his family? The few of them looked at each other. Doctor, please wait a moment. His driver took a few deep breaths and made a phone call. Brother Nan, yes, I'm Gio. Brother 1 is injured. Damn, what's going on? Where is he? In Lianshan County. Brother 1 needs to undergo surgery. Otherwise, his life may be in danger. Yes, okay, I'll sign it. The man hung up and signed. The unconscious man was pushed onto the operating table. His clothes were taken off. Who is this person? Several people looked at the man. His fat but strong body was tattooed with a dragon. It was lifelike and somewhat ferocious. For a moment, the medical staff was a little dazed. Damn, he's a gangster. They didn't have the slightest good impression of such people. Deep down, they were unwilling to treat them for fear of getting into trouble. Let's start, the chief surgeon said. The patient had already been put on the operating table. They couldn't just push him out like this. Chapter 707. Outside the operating room, several people were waiting there. Their faces were full of worry. What did Nan say? If anything happens to one, we don't have to go back. We can just wait for our family to collect the body, the man named Aju said. Tisk sigh. Several people's faces were clouded with gloom. Why do you think this happened? Nan will come today. He will definitely go back to the mountain village. It's not our fault. We crossed the line. Nonsense. It's just a small county. While they were talking, a person stood quietly at the other end of the corridor. Sure enough, none of them are good people. I have to tell Master. Pan Jun gave Wang Yao a call and told him what he knew so that Wang Yao could be prepared in case he suffered a loss. Most of these people had done a lot of evil on a daily basis. They were the kind of people who would do things regardless of the consequences. Okay, I got it. Thank you, Wang Yao said. They were actually people from other provinces. This surprised him. This kind of underground force was actually very strong. People from Jiangnan rarely went to Jiangbei. This was crossing the line. Even if they went there, they would have to pay their respect. Interesting. The safety of his family could not be neglected. Wang Yao told his parents about the situation and asked them to be careful. At the same time, he decided not to go to the mountain for a few days. He would live at home in case of any problems. He could take care of them in time. This was a passive defense. On the same day, he called his friends and found out the name of the person from Pan Jun. He asked them to help him find out the details of the person. In the People's Hospital of Lianshan County, Wen came down from the operating table after a few hours of surgery. "Wen, are you okay?" He won't respond even if we ask him now. The anesthetic has not worn off yet. Let's go to the ward first. Oh, okay. Doctor, is his life in danger? Not for the time being, but we need to continue to observe for a while. I think Nan will be here soon. How should we answer then? Several people gathered together. Their faces were full of worry. That night, a group of people came to the People's Hospital of Lianshan County. The leader was a man in his 30s. He had bright hair, a square face, and slightly dark skin. Nan. Yes. How is Big Brother? I just finished the surgery. What happened? Well, we followed Brother Nan to see a doctor and had a conflict with that doctor, the man named a Jew said. There was a conflict. How many of you are there? Asked Brother Nan with a cigarette in his mouth. 7 or 8. Is it 7 or 8? What about him? Alone. 1. Yes. F***CKU. The man suddenly kicked a Jew to the ground. There are 8 of you, and he's alone. You even have a saber, and you actually let him beat Big Brother to such a state. Are you all trash? Tell me yourselves. He said with a ferocious look. Yes. A Jew got up and stood by the wall with her head lowered. They're all quite energetic when they're having fun, but when something happens, they're all dead. He paced back and forth in the corridor. The nearby medical staff didn't dare to move forward. They could tell at a glance that these people weren't good people. Where is that person now? In a village. Village? Yes. Well, as usual, pay respects to the docs first. Shoo. Brother Nan. I'll leave this matter to you. Understood. Find a place to stay. Brother Nan was waiting in the ward, accompanying his elder brother. It wasn't until midnight that the anesthetic gradually wore off. He also woke up. Brother Nan, why are you here? I heard that something happened to you. How can I not come? How are you feeling? I'm fine. Where's the doctor? Don't worry, I'll kill him tomorrow. And his parents, they're so old, but they don't tell the truth. Well, you can rest assured and recover. Be careful, he may know kung fu. I know, I'll bring the guy here. The night was calm and a little stuffy. Early the next morning, the sun was scorching the earth. Ah, it's so hot. I can finally take off these clothes. This group of people from the northeast found the local underground boss. It was the rule to pay respects to the docs when they came to do business. Wang Yao, Dr. Wang? You've heard of him. I've heard of him. In fact, I've even seen him, the local boss said with a smile. He treated my mother, and she was cured. I'm very grateful to him. This sentence made the other party's position clear. I see, Brother Nan said. How much? It's not a matter of money, the local boss said. He hurt my brother. This matter can't be settled like this. He snapped his fingers. Then, someone behind him brought a paper bag. He took it and threw it on the table. You don't have to worry about this. The local boss picked up the bag and opened it to have a look. Okay. Thank you. Brother Nan left with his men. Brother, who are they? People who have crossed the line, the local boss said with a smile. Arrange for someone to go out. In the mountain village, the clinic was still open in the morning. It was not affected by the previous day's incident at all. Wang Yao began to use the pills he had just concocted on the patients with the right symptoms. He also gave it a name, clear stomach pill. There was no licorice roots mixed in it, so although it also had an effect, it took some time to take effect. While he was seeing the patients, a person came. He didn't register or line up. He came directly to him. Hello, Dr. Wang. Hello. Can we talk in private? Okay. Wang Yao got up and walked to a corner with him. My brother gave you a letter. The person took out an envelope and handed it to him. Who is your brother? You'll know when you read it. Wang Yao opened it. It reminded him to be careful. It showed that the person had a gun in his hand. Thank your brother for me, Wang Yao said. Okay, I'll leave first. Take care. I won't see you out. After accepting the letter, Wang Yao continued to see the patients. In the morning, after seeing 4 patients, Wang Yao called Wang Mingbao. Half an hour later, Wang Mingbao came to the clinic. People from the northeast? Yes, they kept coming to see me, Wang Mingbao said. I kicked them out. They want to take revenge with guns. Wang Mingbao asked. Yes, I want to ask your uncle to help me kill them all, Wang Mingbao said. Okay, I'll go back and talk to my father. In the afternoon, the clinic was closed. Wang Yao went to Zhong Liuchuan's home. Hello, sorry to disturb you. You're welcome, Zhong Liuchuan said. Please sit down. Please have some tea, sir. Zhong Anxin made tea for Wang Yao. Thank you. What's the matter? Zhong Liuchuan asked. Yes, I have something to trouble you with, Zhong Liuchuan said. What is it? I'll go out in the afternoon, Wang Yao said. Please take care of my home. He probably knew what Zhong Liuchuan used to do, so he came to see him. No problem, Zhong Liuchuan said. What trouble do you have? I'm quite good at it. It's a small matter. Okay, leave it to me. After Wang Mingbao left in the morning, Wang Yao decided to take the initiative to attack. He couldn't wait for them to come to his door, but there was a premise to ensure that his parents would not have an accident. Therefore, he thought of Zhong Liuchuan. It would be better if Zhou Xiong was there. Anxin, wait for me here, Zhong Liuchuan said. I'll see sir out. Okay. Be careful, they have guns in their hands, Wang Yao said to Zhong Liuchuan at the door. Guns? Where did they come from? They are from the northeast, Zhong Liuchuan said. They came to see me, but I kicked them out. I see. In the afternoon, Wang Yao went directly to Lianshan County and went to the hospital. He had already inquired about the patient's information from Panjun, including which floor and ward he lived in. Brother one, what do you want to eat? I'll buy it for you. Hey, I want to eat that doctor's heart and liver. The young man next to the bed smiled. You go and get it for me. Brother one glared at him. Boss's illness is getting worse and worse, he thought. Chapter 708. Hello, sir. Someone is looking for you over there, a nurse said to a young man outside the ward. Looking for me? Who is it? The young man was slightly stunned. He had absolutely no relatives in the ward. Where is he? Over there, at the stairs. The nurse pointed to the end of the corridor. I see. Thank you. The young man came to the stairs with a very curious mood. Who is it? The next moment, he blacked out. When he woke up, he found himself in a room. His body was tied up. A young man was standing in front of him. He also had a knife in his hand. Who are you? What do you want? I ask and you answer. Do you understand? Yes. The young man seemed to be very sensible. He did not shout loudly. It should not be the first time he had encountered such a situation. Well, very good. Wang Yao smiled and began to ask questions. What brother Nan? I don't know what you are talking about. The young man pretended to be ignorant. Look, I just praised you. Why are you so dishonest? Wang Yao smiled. Do you feel the pain in your stomach? What? The young man was stunned. After hearing what Wang Yao said, he did feel the pain in his stomach. Is it a little bloated? Yes. Take a good look. Is your stomach bloated? With Wang Yao's reminder, the young man almost subconsciously stared at his stomach. It really began to bloat. It was swelling to a degree visible to the naked eye. It was like a balloon that was constantly inflating. What did you do to me? Your stomach will continue to bloat. When it bloats to a certain extent, I will take a knife and gently poke it like this. There is a certain amount of pressure in the human stomach. When it bloats, the inside will spurt out. It is like poking a balloon with a needle after it blows. You are scaring me. Don't worry. You will know later. Do you feel that your stomach is hot and your body is sweating? Wang Yao whispered. His stomach was still bloating. He could clearly feel it. The young man was scared. The sweat on his head was basically dripping down. The sweat on his body directly soaked his clothes. What did you do to me? I'll ask and you'll answer. Do you understand? Understood. What's that smell? Wang Yao frowned. Look at you. You're a gangster after all. How can your mental fortitude be so bad? It turned out that this young man was so scared that he pissed his pants, emitting a foul smell. Wang Yao started the conversation, and then he told the rest of the story in his mind. He really brought a gun? Yes, I brought 3 of them. After asking, Wang Yao nodded. Done. I'm fine. Everything went black in front of his eyes, and then he lost consciousness. Master, are you done? Pan Jun had been waiting outside for a long time. He was also the one who provided the room for questioning. After all, he was the department director of this hospital. It was easy for him to find a useless warehouse. All right, it's done. Let's do as we discussed earlier. All right, I'll leave this to you. Please be careful. Yeah, you should be careful too. Don't get targeted. No problem, Pan Jun said with a smile. After leaving Lianshan People's Hospital, Wang Yao went directly to the largest hotel in the county. According to what the young man said, Nan and his men were now in the hotel. It wouldn't be long before they went back to the mountain village to take revenge on him and his family. Wang Yao didn't hesitate to use the most violent means to deal with these people. He wanted to take the initiative to attack and make them regret it for the rest of their lives. He didn't even have the chance to regret it. In a room in the hotel in Lianshan County. Nan, everything is ready. All right, let's go. The door opened. They found that the 2 men outside who were on guard were gone. Where are they? Did they go to smoke? Impossible, how could 2 people go out to smoke at the same time? Be careful. Nan, right? Suddenly, a voice sounded. They only heard the voice but didn't see anyone. Who is it? Protect Nan. Whoosh. Bang. 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. The room was full of people. They all fainted. It couldn't be any simpler. Only 1 person was left. He stood there with a cigarette in his mouth. You're Nan. Wang Yao stared at the dark-skinned man. To be honest, his face was not bad, but there was a strong hostility between his eyebrows. Yes, I am. You're Wang Yao. Well, I heard that you wanted to make trouble for me, so I came directly to save you the trouble. Good, very good. Nan was about to pull out his gun. A shadow flashed in front of him. The young man standing in front of him disappeared. Where did he go? He felt a pain in his body. It spread from his back to his torso in an instant. Then, he lost all his strength and fell to the ground. Your brother was injured by me. He deserved it. As for you, I've checked your background. You've done a lot of bad things. It's enough for you to die several times. But that's too easy for you. You'll live in regret and panic for the rest of your life. Wang Yao slapped him several times. He turned his nashi into a violent breath and directly injected it into his body. It destroyed several meridians in his body. Then, he slapped his head and stimulated several parts of his body. In this life, he couldn't lift his hands or shoulders. He couldn't walk much. He couldn't eat much. When he slept, he would have a headache. It was so painful that he couldn't fall asleep. He would experience the feeling of living a life worse than death. As for these people, he looked at the others lying on the ground in the room. They also had to suffer. After dealing with all this, he called Wang Mingbao. Soon, the police car arrived. They didn't have anything else. There were 3 guns and more than a dozen knives. These things alone were enough to make them suffer. As for one in the hospital, his injury was not as simple as it looked. The matter seemed to be over. It was very simple. In the police station. What the hell is going on? Anand, who was locked up in the police station, cursed after waking up. He only felt a terrible headache and pain in his back. He wanted to support himself and sit up, but he found that his arms had no strength at all. What's wrong? He was a little scared. Not long after, he found that there was something wrong with his body. His limbs had no strength. He had a terrible headache and felt nauseous. It must be Wang Yao. Then, he found that he was facing another big problem. Privately possessing firearms was a felony in China. No, he had to find a way to contact the outside. The revenge was temporarily put aside. The first thing he had to do now was to protect himself. In a restaurant in Lianshan County, Wang Mingbao invited a friend to dinner. "Thank you for this time. Hey, we're brothers. You don't have to be so polite." When we rushed over, more than a dozen people were lying on the ground unconscious. They had no ability to resist at all. We could say that it was effortless to bring them to justice. It couldn't be easier. That's good. You're not in danger now. I heard that they had guns, right? Yes, 3 guns with bullets in them. There were also more than a dozen knives. It was really scary to look at. Chapter 709. At the police station, more than a dozen people were interrogated separately. What surprised the police officer in charge was that none of them had seen who had knocked them out on the ground. "I saw a figure," the young man said. "What was his appearance and body shape?" the police officer asked. "I didn't see clearly," the young man said. "The figure flashed, and a gust of wind blew past. I fainted. When I woke up, I was already in the police station." "You don't even know if it was a man or a woman?" the police officer asked. "I don't even know if it was a person or a ghost," the young man said seriously. In another interrogation room, another police officer was asking the same question. "You really didn't see it?" the police officer asked. "I really didn't see it," the young man said. "Why didn't I tell you if I could see it?" This was the strangest thing they had ever encountered since they set foot in this line of work. They didn't even see who the other party was before they fainted. Logically speaking, ghosts couldn't be seen during the day, right? A master. This was the common thought of the arrested people and the people in charge of interrogating them. The possibility of ghosts being seen during the day could be directly ignored. Wang Yao had returned to the mountain village. He first found Zhong Luchuan, who was at the foot of Dongshan Mountain in a tree. From that position, he could see Wang Yao's home below. If there was any trouble, he could rush over as soon as possible. "Thank you for your hard work." It was not comfortable to stay in a tree in such weather. "You are welcome," Zhong Luchuan said. "Did things go well?" "Yes, very well," Wang Yao said. "They were all invited to tea by the police." "You can't be careless," Zhong Luchuan kindly reminded him. "These people have connections with both the underworld and the underworld, especially these 2 people. I have heard that they are very famous in the Northeast. I heard that someone in their family is a high-ranking official. Otherwise, what they have done would be enough to shoot them 7 or 8 times." He was very clear about these things. "Well, that reminds me," Wang Yao said. He didn't want to be bitten by the snake. He had to keep an eye on it. "Do you have any connections in this area?" "What do you mean?" "I want to know his movements," Wang Yao said. To be precise, he contacted those people. "What did he want to do?" "That's easy," Zhong Luchuan said. "Leave it to me." "Thank you." Wang Yao was thinking about how to thank Zhong Luchuan. After all, this was a troublesome matter. He could choose to refuse. He stopped the car and entered the house. After informing his parents, he went to the clinic. In the police station in Lianshan County, Anand realized that there was really something wrong with his body. The first thing he thought of was the doctor he had never met before. It must be his doing. "I want to see a lawyer," he insisted. His subordinates weren't any better. Their bodies were either sore, bloated, or unable to stand up. He didn't care about these things. What he cared about now was how to get out of here, how to take revenge on that guy, and make him and his family suffer a fate worse than death. This wasn't the first time he had been arrested. Although it was slightly different this time, he believed that it could be solved. Money paving the way was always successful. This was his past experience. It was the same for both the good and the bad. Soon, he met the lawyer as he wished. "I have to get out of here as soon as possible." "No problem," the lawyer with glasses said. He had already learned about the process of the matter before he came. This kind of thing could be done by finding a person to take the blame. The people with guns had to be sacrificed. Other than that, there was nothing else. "We'll talk about other things when we get out," the lawyer said. "Okay. Brother Nan, you don't look very good," the lawyer said. "Do your own thing," the lawyer said. The lawyer was very efficient. Soon, the matter was settled. Anand was carried out of the police station. "Boss, I heard that he is a scumbag," the lawyer said. "He has done a lot of things like murder and fire. If we just let him go, wouldn't that be like letting a tiger return to the mountain and helping a tyrant do evil?" "What do you think we should do?" the lawyer asked. "Catch him and use him as a target," the lawyer said. "He has hired a lawyer, and someone else will take the blame for him. We are the police, not them. We have to follow the rules, the law, and evidence." "There is no evidence," the police officer said. In fact, they were also helpless about some things. They knew that he was a bad guy, but they couldn't bring him to justice. "I think something is going to happen to him," the young policeman said. "Oh, how do you know?" "Look at him," the policeman said. "He can't even walk, and he has to be carried. He must have a serious problem. I heard that the person they provoked was Dr. Wong." "Don't talk nonsense." The police officer waved his hand. They had heard a little about the doctor in the mountain village at first. They knew that his medical skills were very good. Their family members had also gone to see him. He cured all diseases with medicine. He was indeed very good. After the recent case, the people who came into contact with him realized that the doctor was not as simple as his medical skills were amazing. He was such a troublesome person and was full of evil. The regulars in the police station were all cured by him. No, it should be said that they were living a life worse than death. This was a doctor that was both admirable and terrifying. It was hard to say what would happen to this group of people. "Brother Nan, are you looking for me?" "Ah Sin, can you do something for me?" "What is it?" "This person and his family," Ah Sin said. He took out a photo and handed it to the ordinary-looking man in front of him. He looked ordinary, wore ordinary, and had an ordinary height. He was the kind of person who would not attract attention once he was put in a crowd. "Understood." Asun took the photo and looked at it carefully. He then handed it back. "Brother Nan, don't you want to keep him alive? Go to the provincial capital. Asun, I'll leave this to you. Jiu, arrange a few people to stay and cooperate with Senior. Got it, Brother Nan," Asun said. "Damn it." As soon as he finished speaking, Nan felt that his stomach began to hurt again. It was as if there were small snakes running around and biting inside. There was more than one snake. It was very painful. "Wait, call Asun back." He shouted to the people next to him. After a while, Asun came back. "Brother Nan, keep the doctor alive. His family can't die too comfortably." Anan endured the pain and said, "Understood." Asun was expressionless. "Okay, as soon as possible. I can't wait." "Got it." He took a deep breath and gritted his teeth as he lay down. A young man next to him hurried over to wipe his sweat. "Where's your tie?" Anan stared at his collar and asked. "My wife washed it, Brother Nan. A dog is a dog." He left under the escort of more than 20 people and several cars. He went straight to the provincial capital. He also transferred Brother One, who had just undergone surgery 2 days ago, to the provincial capital. In addition, there were some people who stayed behind to do things. In a tea-house, an ordinary-looking middle-aged man was quietly drinking tea. It was good tea. It was the most expensive tea there. "Ah son, Brother Nan is in a hurry," a young man opposite him whispered. He didn't understand why such a pot of tea in such a small tea-house in a small mountain town was worth 800 yuan. There was nothing good to drink. The key was that the man in front of him was very happy to drink it. He was very leisurely and not in a hurry at all. "You know Brother Nan's temper." "I know, don't worry," Asen said. "Have some tea. This tea is good. It's local camellia." He pointed to the tea in the cup. "Well, what do you need me to prepare?" "The specific location of his home." "What else?" "No, that's enough. This person is not simple. He's a kung fu master," Ajie reminded him. "I know, you don't have to use a gun to kill people. What this society needs is brains." Okay. If this matter was not handled well, he would also be implicated. He knew very well what would happen when that big brother got angry. People would die if he got angry. "You are not afraid, but we are." He wanted to say but didn't dare to say it. He knew the horror of the man in front of him. He looked ordinary, but he knew a lot of things, especially the means of killing people. It was even more unimaginable. Chapter 710. In the village, the sun was setting. A person came to the clinic in the afterglow of the setting sun. Wang Yao was reading a book. "You look good," he said to the person with a smile. "Thank you for your treatment." The person was Zheng Weijun. He was carrying 2 boxes in his hands. "I went to the Central Plains and brought back some tea leaves." "Have a taste," Zheng Weijun said. "Thank you," Wang Yao said. The 2 boxes of tea leaves looked ordinary, but he knew they were expensive. The plan for the pharmaceutical company has been completed. It will be built in 2 phases. Take a look. Zheng Weijun had come for this. The design was very beautiful. It was obvious that it was the work of an expert. "When will the construction start?" Zheng Weijun asked. "June 8th, an auspicious day." "Okay." Wang Yao looked at the design carefully. There should be a small pool here." He pointed to a small pool in the design. "Yes. It's not suitable here. Where should we change it? Or should we just get rid of it?" "I'll take a look at it when the construction starts." Wang Yao knew about arrays. The original construction of the buildings was not a big problem, but such a small pool disrupted the overall sense of harmony. It was a little dazzling in that position. This was Wang Yao's first impression. As for how to change it, he needed to think about it carefully. It would be best if he actually went to see it. "Okay, I'll keep it in mind," Zheng Weijun said. "I've also thought about the first medicine. It's called primordial spirit soup," Wang Yao said. He thought about it for a long time and finally decided to use this medicine as the first mass-produced medicine after the establishment of the factory. The reason was very simple. This was a medicine with a jack-of-all-trades nature. It had a wide range of applications, and its medicinal strength was moderate and mild. The effect was also good. "Do you need anything from me?" Wang Yao asked. "Is it a pill or a powder?" "Powder." The process of making this medicine was relatively simple. Wang Yao explained the main ingredients and effects of the medicine to Zheng Weijun. "Okay." He didn't stay here for too long and soon left. After dinner, Zhong Luchuan came over, said a few words, and then left. Wang Yao did not go up the mountain. "Aren't you going up the mountain tonight?" Zhang Xiuying asked. Her son had been living at home for the past few days, which was somewhat unusual. "Well, stay here today," Wang Yao said calmly. For the past few days, he had basically spent the night at home, mainly because he was worried about his parents. Wang Yao watched TV with his parents and chatted with them until it was past 9 o'clock. He went back to his room and read some medical books for a while. Then, He turned off the lights and went to bed. Do you think our son is hiding something from us? Zhang Xiuying asked her husband on the balcony. The child has grown up and has his own thoughts. Why do you care so much? Go to sleep. Hey you! The night gradually deepened. The river at the northern end of the village flowed quietly, producing a gurgling sound. A man suddenly appeared on the riverside, standing there quietly. The next moment, he disappeared. Woof! Woof! A dog in the mountain village suddenly barked. The wind blew, and the leaves on the mountain rustled. On Dongshan Mountain, a man quietly walked on a path in the forest. During the day it was very quiet. At night it was even quieter. There was only the sound of the wind and insects. Well, it's so quiet. The man sighed softly. He walked very fast at night, as if he could see things at night. After a while, he stopped and stood there, staring at the bottom of the mountain. It was dark. There was no light in the village. He arrived. His body suddenly tightened as if he had been stimulated by something. He was like a drawn bow or a leopard about to rush out to hunt. Oh, a gust of wind blew. His body moved in an instant. He turned around and took out something from his waist. Puff, puff. 2 flames lit up and 2 muffled sounds. There was a muffled groan. The man hiding behind a tree adjusted his breathing. Puff, puff, puff. His arm was bleeding, dripping to the ground and grass. He was careless. He was injured in a face-to-face confrontation. In fact, it was not his fault. No one would have thought that there would be another killer in such a small mountain village. The key was that the other party had been waiting there for a long time. He was unprepared. It was already his limit and God's care that he could avoid one of the 2 shots and not be killed instantly. Hey, he actually dodged it. The person who came is a master. Although Zhong Luchuan, who was hiding in the dark, was surprised, he did not move. He just waited quietly, waiting for the other party to show a flaw. Rustle. At this time, footsteps were heard. It was particularly obvious in the silent night in the mountains. Someone else is coming? The 2 of them were stunned at the same time. Good evening. A voice suddenly came in their ears. Puff, 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 puff. Light flashed 3 times in the night. Whoosh! A figure flew out and crashed into an old chestnut tree with a loud bang. Even the trunk of the tree seemed to have been shaken by the impact. The young man slid down the trunk and stopped moving. It hurt all over. At this time, Sun felt as if he had been hit by a car at full speed and hit the wall. He had experienced this feeling before. It was painful, very painful. At that time, he swore that he would not experience it a second time. He encountered it again. However, the other party was not a car, but a person. How could a person have such strength? The other party was a master. He now understood the meaning of this sentence. This was a master, a real master. One was difficult enough to deal with. Now there were 2. If things went wrong, he might die here today. For a moment, he thought a lot. There was a figure in front of him. He actually moved forward? This was a very irrational behavior. Sir, be careful. A voice sounded. At a position of 40 degrees diagonally opposite, there was a man. The man, who was lying on the ground without any reaction, suddenly moved. He raised his hand and pulled the trigger. Puff, puff. There were 2 muffled sounds and 2 flames. The figure in front of him suddenly disappeared. This is not scientific. A person can be faster than a bullet. No one would believe such a thing. It was just a lie in movies or novels. However, the person in front of him did disappear suddenly. He disappeared at the same time as the shot was fired. Although human vision would have a delay in theory, it was almost negligible. He dodged, was faster than a bullet, or had a prediction. No matter which point it was, he was a very terrible person. The next moment, the man suddenly appeared in front of him. He wanted to raise his hand but found that his body was bound. It was as if he was being pressed by a mountain. It was difficult to even breathe, let alone raise his arm. What is going on? The gun fell to the ground. He had lost the ability to resist. Rustle. Another person's footsteps were heard. Sir, are you okay? I'm fine. Zhong Luchuan was not the only one who was surprised. He had seen the situation just now. Wang Yao had suddenly appeared and sent the killer flying in an instant. Then, when the killer raised his hand to shoot, Wang Yao disappeared in an instant. He had really disappeared and then reappeared. It felt like teleportation. What is this? Is it an extremely profound kung fu or a special ability? It turned out that Dr. Wang was not only extraordinary in medical skills, but he also had a more amazing ability. Let's go somewhere else, Wang Yao said to Zhong Luchuan. Yes, sir, Zhong Luchuan said. The mountain village was not big. There were not many houses, but there were always a few vacant ones. The two men took the killer to the room. Wang Yao made him completely lose the ability to move. After seeing the man's face, Zhong Luchuan sighed softly. Hey, it's him. Do you know him? Zhong Luchuan asked. Yes, this person is a very famous killer. He rarely misses. I didn't expect them to invite him to trouble you. Has he killed anyone? Zhong Luchuan asked. More than one. Is there any evidence? Zhong Luchuan shook his head. Some things were known to be like this, but there was no evidence. Chapter 7:11. It was an empty house with no lights and no signs of human habitation. It was halfway up the mountain. This position is not bad, Wang Yao said. After dealing with the killer who came in the middle of the night, the two of them went down the mountain. They would come back tomorrow to interrogate him. As for the problem of running away, there was no need to worry. Wang Yao used a special method to make him lose the ability to move his limbs. Now, he could barely maintain his breathing. Not to mention running away, he could not even bite his tongue to commit suicide. Do you know him? Wang Yao asked Zhong Luchuan when they were going down the mountain. I know him, Zhong Luchuan said. People in the underworld call him Senator. I don't know his specific name. He is very famous in the northeast. Gold-ranked assassin? Sort of, Zhong Luchuan said. I didn't expect your martial arts cultivation to be so high, Zhong Luchuan said. At the very beginning, he also suspected that Wang Yao had the legendary superpower, but after careful observation, footsteps, and movements, he found that the other possibility was more likely. This doctor, who was younger than him, was a master of martial arts, and was as high as several floors, almost reaching the stage of perfection, returning to the original state. As a result, he was even more surprised. How high was his comprehension ability to achieve such an achievement? To reach this stage, in addition to hard work, talent was also indispensable. Just like taking the college entrance examination, some people could not be the top scorer no matter how hard they worked. Sometimes, hard work could not determine everything. Of course, if you did not work hard, then everything was impossible. It's all right, Wang Yao replied with a smile. How did you find out? Just now, looking at Mr.'s footsteps and listening to Mr.'s breathing, we can infer that Mr. has reached the realm of returning to one's original state. Return to nature, Wang Yao said. You've seen someone at this level before? I was fortunate enough to see it once. Where? Mount Song. I met a monk. Oh, I thought those monks only knew how to smash rocks with their chests. It turns out that they have real skills. He does have real skills. With a wave of his sleeve, he can send a rock as tall as a person flying. This was the first time that Wang Yao heard someone mention that there were people in this field other than himself. Is that monk still there? He should still be around, Zhong Luchuan said. When I saw him, he was only in his 50s. He was hale and hearty. He had a feeling of returning to his natural state. The more he lived, the more spirited he became. I'll go and have a look when I have time, Wang Yao said with a smile. You may not be able to meet him. I met him by chance. I heard that he has a high level of experience in Buddhism and rarely shows himself in front of outsiders. Wang Yao nodded. Thank you so much for tonight. You're too polite. After descending the mountain, Wang Yao came to the door of his house. Then, with a light leap, he soared into the air like a bird. Then, he gently landed in the courtyard like a feather, without a sound. Then, with a light leap, he entered the room through the window without making a single sound. Night as usual. On the mountain, the wind seemed to be particularly strong. Where is this? In the cottage on the mountain, Asen woke up from a coma and looked around. The house was made of stone and had wooden windows and doors. It was quite old, and the trees outside could be vaguely seen. This should be on the mountain. This house might have been used to look at the mountain. It had not been used for a long time. He struggled to stand up and found that his body was in great pain. Every part of his body was in pain, and even breathing was painful. He was seriously injured. He could not leave. He did not expect to meet two such people in this mountain village, especially the last one. He could not fight back at all. He lost the ability to resist in a face-to-face confrontation. The other party could even dodge bullet. He was careless. He was used to everything going smoothly. He was overconfident. He admitted defeat. The painful night was long. In the morning, Wang Yao got up very early and practiced boxing in his yard. The rooster at home was crowing while circling around him. Since the rooster had taken medicine last time, it was obviously not normal. A rooster often walked like a cat. Was this normal? A pair of cross-eyed eyes looked up from time to time at Wang Yao, who was practicing boxing. He was practicing boxing, and the rooster was circling around him. After practicing boxing, he finished. After breakfast, Wang Yao went out of the house and found Zhong Luchuan waiting on the road. You got up early? Zhong Luchuan asked. Yes, I've already run a lap, Zhong Luchuan said. Let's go. The two of them went up Dongshan Mountain along the mountain road. It's you. Asen was surprised to see Zhong Luchuan. He never thought that this person would be in this small mountain village. No wonder he was shot. They were in the same line of work, so they knew each other. Do you know each other? Zhong Luchuan asked. Yes, Asen said. Tell me, who sent you, Anan? Zhong Luchuan asked. Yes. Asen admitted it very simply. Where is he now? Zhong Luchuan asked. I don't know, Zhong Luchuan said. Sir, how should we deal with him? Zhong Luchuan asked. Leave him to the police, Wang Yao said. Okay, Zhong Luchuan said. The police came in the morning and took Asen away. Aren't you afraid he will come back for revenge? Zhong Luchuan asked. He won't be able to recover for long, Wang Yao said. Oh, you have a backup plan? Zhong Luchuan asked. No, he is sick, Zhong Luchuan said. He is sick? Zhong Luchuan asked. Yes, he is terminally ill, Zhong Luchuan said. The previous night, Wang Yao had noticed that something was wrong with Asen's body. After taking a closer look, he found that Asen was sick. It was a very rare disease. He needs to drink a lot of water every day, Wang Yao said. Zhong Luchuan asked. His body's water metabolism is much faster than that of ordinary people, Zhong Luchuan said. What's the problem with that? He was short of water, so he just needed to drink. He is like a stove, a burning stove, Zhong Luchuan said. If you want to cool him down, you can't just water him. Otherwise, the stove will explode. Well, how can this disease be? I have never heard of it, Zhong Luchuan said. The cause of the disease should be a problem with Asen's blood. If given some time, Wang Yao might be able to solve it. However, Asen had come to kill him. He was not a person who would repay evil with good. If Asen had slapped his face and then stretched out his left face to be slapped, that would not be tolerance. Asen was not only sick, but he had been seriously injured the previous night. It was estimated that he would not live for more than 10 days. In the provincial hospital in the provincial capital. Doctor, what's going on with me? Anand was sweating because of the pain. He had no strength in his limbs. He could not hold anything with his hands, not even a glass of water. He could not stand up. His stomach hurt for no reason, and he could not eat. After eating, he either had diarrhea or vomited. The key was that he could not sleep. As soon as he closed his eyes, he felt a terrible headache. It was as if someone was holding a needle and poking his head from all directions. We are discussing it, Zhong Luchuan said. Discussing it? What do you mean? Anand was not happy. We suspect that there is a nerve problem in your brain, Zhong Luchuan said. Brain? Yes, any activity of the human body is controlled by the brain, the doctor said. Taking things, walking, eating, and even sleeping. Now your situation is that the body's movement has an abnormal reaction. It is almost any action. This was a very difficult disease. He had not encountered it before. Only when there were difficulties would there be challenges. He felt that this patient's disease was a challenge. Tomorrow, the hospital will organize a consultation to see your disease. Okay, I'll have to trouble you. At this time, Anand restrained the anger in his body. This was the provincial capital, not his hometown. His body and life were more important. He needed to rely on the doctor here. Is there still no news from Audiobook? No, Brother Nan. Colin asked. Okay. In Lianshan County, Audiobook was pacing back and forth. Are you sure? Yes, I have also inquired. The person who was arrested is Asen, and he is seriously injured. He can't even stand up. Damn it, I asked you to drink tea. Is there a problem? He was now thinking about how to explain to his brother. Brother Gio, Brother Nan's phone call. Damn it, what I am afraid of is coming. Brother Nan, this is Audiobook. Yes, Brother Sin is not here. Got it. Phew. After hanging up the phone, Audiobook took a few deep breaths and found that several brothers next to him were looking at him. Brother Nan's phone call. He asked us how things are going. Chapter 7:12. Don't look at me. Think of a way. If something goes wrong, none of us can escape, Aju said. She had originally hoped that the gold medal fighter, Asen, would be able to succeed and capture her easily. In the end, she ran directly to the police station to report. Moreover, she was carried in. It seemed that her injuries were not light. Why don't we try again? A young man asked tentatively. Try again. It's a good idea, but who will go? After hearing this, none of them spoke. What kind of joke was this? Even the strongest person on their side had ended up like this. How could they come back alive? Sin must be a master, and a well-prepared one. Each and every one of them was terrified. They lowered their heads like frightened ostriches. Alas! Aju sighed. At the critical moment, no one could help, including himself. Brother Gio, I think we should tell Nan the truth. We can't do anything if we don't tell him. Sun is still in the police station. We have to find a way to get him out. Come on. Yes, I agree with this suggestion. Everyone agrees. Agreed. Okay, I'll call Nan now. He took a deep breath, walked back and forth a few steps, and then made a phone call. Nan, bad news. Sun was arrested by the police. His expression was tense and full of emotion. It felt like his brother was right next to him at this moment, and he had just learned the news. What's going on? Nan on the other end of the phone was anxious. Sun was a master hired by Sun at a high price. Over the years, Sun had helped his team solve a lot of problems. He was arrested by the police. It didn't matter whether he was alive or dead. The key was that he knew too much. Was it possible that he would betray them? If that was the case, it would be terrible. I just learned the news. Sun failed. Damn it. Find out what's going on for me, and then get him out of here. Us. Brother Nan, he tried to kill someone. I know. After that, He hung up the phone directly. Did you hear the phone call? They all shook their heads. Nan asked us to find a way to get Sun out. Are you kidding? He's been arrested by the police for attempted murder. Moreover, he had a gun when he was arrested. He's definitely going to get a heavy sentence. What are we going to do? Breaking into the police station is suicide, okay? Let's think of something, a Jew said. Based on his understanding of his boss, these were just words of anger. He would definitely send someone over, and it was very likely that it would be a lawyer from the team. Things like the law had to be handled by professionals. In the medical hall, Wang Yao was concocting herbs. Ginseng, wolfberry, sealwort, gorgon, Ganoderma lucidum, licorice. This was the recipe for the primordial spirit soup. In addition to the herbs that he had grown on Nanshan Hill, there were also some wild herbs that he had purchased through Li Maoshuang. He was sure that they were all wild. They grabbed the herbs casually and separated. This time, he was not going to make soup. Instead, he was going to crush them and mix them into powder particles. The powdered medicine used today was actually processed. The real original medicine could not be dissolved so quickly. Wang Yao had a little exposure to current pharmaceutical technology. Biological and chemical methods were the absolute mainstream of technology. Although the advancement of technology was a great thing, in fact, Chinese medicine prescriptions would lose some things when processed through these technological means, which would affect the efficacy of the medicine to a certain extent. For example, the prescription in Wang Yao's hand. The same medicine, the same ratio, after being mixed by him and processed by machinery, would have different effects when given to patients with the same symptoms. He would try his best to concoct the medicine using the ancient method to ensure the efficacy of the medicine. He had discussed this with Zheng Weijun before. Knock, knock, knock. Just then, there was a knock on the door. It was very urgent. Please come in. He was in the room and shouted in the direction of the door. His voice was clearly heard by the person outside the door. It was not distorted. The door was pushed open, and two people came in, supporting each other. They could not even walk. As soon as they entered the courtyard, before entering the clinic, Wang Yao felt the difference between the two people. The smell was very strange. It was a fishy smell. Cough, cough, cough. Hello, Dr. Wang, I am here to disturb you again, the man who came in said. It's you. Wang Yao was a little surprised to see this person. In fact, he had seen this person before. It was Miao Sanding, the geomancer. Next to him was a man in his 30s. The two people's faces were quite bad. It was a strange greenish-black color. Even the whites of their eyes had turned blue. Their hair was very dry, and their breath was very unstable. The key problem was that it was mid-July. It was almost the hottest time of the year. The two people were wearing thick cotton clothes with long sleeves and autumn clothes inside. They looked like they had just come back from a cold place. Wang Yao felt a very strange and cold breath from them. Now that he had connected all the meridians in his body, he could release his neishi and communicate with heaven and earth. He was very sensitive to these breaths. What's wrong with you? Wang Yao asked. My younger brother and I were in a place in the south to help people look at a haunted house, Miao Sanding said. We found an ancient tomb and went in to have a look out of curiosity. We didn't expect to get into big trouble. An ancient tomb? Wang Yao asked. Yes, an ancient tomb. There is something in it, Miao Sanding said. Ghost? Wang Yao asked. You can say that, Wang Yao said. After coming out of the tomb, I felt something was wrong. I almost died twice. I went to Wutai Mountain, but the master was not there. I thought about it and came here to try. He and his younger brother did not have a better way. It was an accident that they encountered such a problem when they went out this time. It could be said that this was their fate. Who would have thought that there would be such a thing in the tomb? If it wasn't for the fact that there was a temple nearby, the incense in the temple was still quite strong, and the monk there had some skills and wasn't someone who only knew how to eat vegetarian food and chant Buddhist scriptures, they might not have survived for more than 3 days. He had encountered such a thing before, so he knew how to deal with it. Therefore, he went straight to Mount Wutai as fast as he could. There was an old monk there who was good at Buddhism. The key was that he had some connections with them. The last time he encountered such a problem, he went to him to solve it. This time, he could only bother him again. Unfortunately, the master went out to travel. He didn't know where he went or when he would come back. This was going to cost him his life. Other things could wait, but this couldn't. He suddenly thought of Wang Yao, who was a person that even he couldn't understand. It could be said that he saved Wang Yao as if he was possessed. If he couldn't cure Wang Yao, then they, as brothers, could inform their relatives to prepare for the funeral. Ghost? Wang Yao was curious. He had encountered such a case before. He could also feel that the two of them had a unique aura. It was very cold. It was different from the people who came to see the doctor. Let me try. He released his neishi. He practiced Taoism, which was moderate and mellow. He had controlled the aura around him freely. It was as if he was using his arms. Of course, these things were invisible. Under his control, the aura he released came to the side of the two people. The two completely different auras met, and the cold aura quickly dissipated, like a snowflake exposed to the strong sunlight. The two of them could clearly feel the changes in their bodies. Ever since they came into contact with the ancient tomb, their bodies had been cold. No matter how many clothes they wore, it didn't help. The coldness had penetrated deep into their bones and organs. Until now, this situation hadn't improved in the slightest. Instead, it was getting worse. But when the young man gently pushed them with his palm, the cold feeling subsided a lot and they felt much more comfortable. Chapter 7:13. The feeling was like basking in the warm sun in winter or bathing in the spring breeze. Comfortable, very comfortable. It worked. Of course, Wang Yao could clearly feel the changes in their bodies, so he sped up. His neishi was like a bell, enveloping the two of them in it. It kept flowing, dissipating the invisible and intangible cold qi. If someone came over at this time, they would see Wang Yao standing there with his palms flat. The other two people were sitting on chairs with their eyes closed. Wang Yao's palms were nearly a foot away from them. The two people's expressions seemed to be very comfortable. It's almost done. Feeling that the cold air in the two people's bodies had dissipated, Wang Yao stopped. How do you feel? Well, thank you so much, Miao Sanding said. The cold aura on his body had disappeared. For the past few days, it had been like a sharp sword hanging over his head, ready to chop down at any time. Finally, it had disappeared. Although his body was still uncomfortable and he still felt a little cold, he had experience. This kind of situation could be recovered after a period of recuperation. There was no need to worry about his life. Originally, he just wanted to give it a try. He didn't expect it to be cured. At this time, the way he looked at Wang Yao was completely different. Even in Mount Wutai, the senior monk who had achieved the Tao still needed to use the Buddhist Dharma's blessing and recite sutras to expel the poison. It would not take such a short time. Yet, this person just pushed with his hands, and it could not be any simpler. Then, it was cured. Wasn't this too unreal? Well, how much should I pay for the treatment? Miao Sanding began to take out his money. Forget it, you don't have to. Wang Yao waved his hand with a smile. How can that be? It's okay. I'm in a good mood today. Wang Yao smiled. The two brothers were stunned. What a willful reason. The reason why Wang Yao didn't accept their consultation fees was that he was in a good mood. The arrival of these two people showed him another field. Although he had come in contact with them before, that time, he had only had a slight taste of it. At most, he had only opened the door a little, and he hadn't seen what was inside clearly. This time it was different. This time the door was completely opened, and the road behind it was revealed. Interesting. As a pharmacist, there were not many things that interested him. For example, a good medical book, a good herb, or some rare cases. These two people clearly belonged to this category. This is my junior brother, Lu Sifang. Hello. Hello. These are the brothers' names. How interesting, both of them have numbers. I can't thank you enough, Miao Sanding said. If you need anything in the future, just let me know. We don't know anything else, but we are good at feng shui. Sure. Wang Yao nodded with a smile. Drink some water. He poured a glass of water for each of them. Tell me about the ancient tomb. Wang Yao was very curious about it. Okay. Miao Sanding took a breath and then told him about the adventure that day. Wang Yao sat quietly and listened to him with a cup of tea. An ancient tomb from the Ming dynasty was in the middle of the mountains. There was no sign at all. It was just on an inconspicuous mountain. The local people were from a big family. The old people in the family wanted to make a tomb when they were alive, so they asked Miao Sanding to help them check the feng shui of the tomb. His junior brother happened to be nearby. The two brothers had not seen each other for many days, so they went together. The location was chosen. It happened to be an auspicious day, so they began to dig. As a result, they dug out the ancient tomb. This is strange, Miao Sanding said. We didn't see that there was an ancient tomb below. Miao Sanding laughed at himself. With his own cultivation, he should be able to see the feng shui of this place. The feng shui of this place was completely different whether there was a tomb below or not. Wait, are the people who dug the tomb all right? Wang Yao asked curiously. If the two of them were in such a situation, then the grave diggers who had gone down before them should be in a worse condition. They are fine because they didn't go into the tomb, Miao Sanding said. Let me tell you that, Lu Sifang said. It's my fault, Miao Sanding said. Actually, I have another identity. Tomb Raider? Wang Yao's eyes lit up. This was a nice way to put it. Generally speaking, he was a tomb raider. Well, no, I am an archaeologist, Lu Sifang said. What? Wang Yao was a little confused. Feng shui? An archaeologist? Part-time, Lu Sifang said. I knew at a glance that the ancient tomb was designed in the Ming dynasty, and it was very interesting, Lu Sifang said. It happened that the stone door that blocked the tomb collapsed halfway, so I wanted to go down and have a look. My brother was worried, so he went down with me. In the middle of the tomb, we saw a statue. Speaking of this, Lu Sifang showed a panicked look. It was as if he had seen a ghost. It is very rare to set up a statue in the tomb, especially in that position, Lu Sifang said. The statue looked very scary, as if it was an evil spirit from hell. It is a bit mysterious, Lu Sifang said. How could a modern city become a ghost town? Then, there was a gust of wind in the tomb for no reason. It was a cold wind. We immediately realized that something was wrong and came out directly. At the same time, we asked people to seal the tomb and inform the local cultural relics department. That afternoon, we felt that something was wrong with our bodies. Then, my brother took me to Wutai Mountain. This was the first time Wang Yao had heard such a thing from a real person. He had only seen such a plot in novels before. He didn't expect it to really exist in real life. I didn't expect Dr. Wang to be a master of Taoism. What master? Wang Yao waved his hand with a smile. If there is nothing else, we are brothers, Miao Sanding said. Goodbye. Although the main threat to his body had been eliminated, his body still needed to be nursed back to health. Okay, take care. Miao Sanding and his brother left the clinic for a while, and Miao Sanding came back. What is it? Wang Yao asked. Well, Dr. Wang, if other people encounter such a situation, can they also come for treatment? Miao Sanding asked. Yes, but not everyone can come here, Miao Sanding said. Those people can't come here? Wang Yao asked. Those who do evil, those who have bad intentions, those who are arrogant and don't listen to advice, those who are dying of illness, and those who I don't like, Wang Yao said. I will remember. Oh, you can check my Weibo when you have time, Wang Yao said with a smile. I am not here every day. Okay. Miao Sanding remembered Wang Yao's words and turned to leave. Brother, are you okay? Wang Yao asked. I am fine, Miao Sanding said. I was worried about the people in the village and the archaeologists who excavated the sunset snow. Brother, why do you think there is a statue of an evil spirit in the tomb? Miao Sanding asked. I don't know, Miao Sanding said. Maybe it is to prevent tomb robbers from trying to enter the tomb. There was an evil spirit in the tomb, but the second tomb door was carved with a Buddhist arhat. It was very interesting. Somewhere in the south, it had been raining for 3 days. On a mountain there was a temporary, simple shed. Below it was a corner of a tomb that had already been revealed. A few workers were busy below. The tomb of the Ming dynasty has a history of more than 400 years, an old man in his 60s exclaimed. Teacher, look at the form of this tomb. What kind of person is buried inside? Asked a man in his 30s beside the old man. It is hard to say, Miao Sanding said. We need to open the second tomb door. After a few days of excavation, they had encountered some problems, so they had not opened the second tomb door. On the first day of excavation, some construction workers were injured, and more than one of them. This made the construction team panic, and they had to find a feng shui master to take a look. Of course, these archaeologists had encountered such situations before, and they knew what they were worried about. In order to appease them, they really invited a famous local feng shui master. As a result, after the feng shui master came to take a look, his face changed drastically, and he said that they could not dig here, or they would die. Then he left without looking back. This was even better. The construction team directly quit. Originally, very few people were willing to dig graves, and if this news spread, no one would be willing to do it. They could only increase the price twice the amount. They continued to dig under the heavy reward. However, it began to rain the day after. The continuous rain directly hindered the progress of the construction. Chapter 7:14. They had only excavated this corner. They still didn't know the scale of the tomb because the second door at the back of the tomb hadn't been opened yet. The old man leading the team felt that if they opened the door rashly, it might cause damage to the cultural relics inside. Therefore, he decided not to open the door until the conditions were right. According to their investigation around the tomb in the past few days, the tomb was likely not visited by tomb robbers. That was to say, the tomb was very well protected. The cultural relics inside were still there. It was likely to be a big discovery. This damned weather. The young man looked outside. The rain was still falling. Well, the rain is a bit annoying. The old man looked up at the weather and then went back to the tomb. He was very interested in the sculptures in the tomb, such as the evil spirit statue in the middle of the tomb. It was rare in the tombs of the same period. After all, this kind of thing was regarded as an ominous symbol in ancient times. It was hard to imagine that someone would design such a statue. What was the purpose of it? It was to act as a gatekeeper to prevent outsiders from entering the tomb. It had to be said that the statue was very realistic. The image of the evil spirit was very scary. When they first came in and saw the statue, several of his students were shocked. There were also carvings on the walls on both sides of the tomb. The content was of soldiers in leather armor and holding guns fighting in all directions. The person in the lead was riding a horse with a sword in his hand. The image was very tall. Further behind the tomb door were carvings of Buddhist arhats and guardian vajras. This was understandable. They were to protect the peace of the dead in the tomb. First, there were evil spirits. Then, there were gods and Buddhas. What was going on behind the door? Just as the old man was thinking about the problem, a shout suddenly came from outside. "Oh no, someone is dead. What's going on?" He frowned. In the past few days, there had been problems with the excavation of the tomb. This also made the people involved in the project emotionally unstable. He had encountered such things before. He could only try his best to comfort them. If someone wanted to leave at this time, he wouldn't stop them. "I'll go out and have a look," the student who had been with him for many years said. He didn't go out for long and came back. He didn't look very good. "Sir, someone is dead. It's a worker who participated in the excavation." This is troublesome, the old man thought to himself. Previously, the construction team wanted to give up on the project because someone was injured. They only agreed to continue digging under the conditions of their persuasion and increase the price. Now that someone had died, the construction team would definitely not continue. Moreover, it cast a shadow over the minds of the archaeologists who participated in this archaeological work. "This place is too evil. I've asked a feng shui master to come over and take a look. This place can't be dug. Old Zhang's son is getting married next month. What should we do?" The people outside were already discussing animatedly. The people in charge of the construction team came over and found the old man in charge of the archaeology. No matter what, they would not continue the excavation work. In just a few days, 2 were injured and 1 was dead. Fortunately, he had bought insurance for these people. However, this was not good. He did not earn a single cent from this business. Instead, he lost money. Without the construction team, the following work would be hindered. "Teacher, I'll contact the new construction team right away," a student beside him said. "All right." It was still raining heavily outside, and the sky was extremely gloomy. In the temporary work shed, several archaeologists gathered together to rest. Drip, drip, drip. Something was leaking. "Where is the rain leaking? Look, look, don't damage the tomb." Thud. An archaeologist stood up and walked a few steps. He suddenly fell to the ground. "Lao He, what's wrong with you?" Several of his companions hurried over. As soon as they saw the man's face, they were pale and short of breath. "Send him to the hospital." The man was sent to the hospital. Several people followed to help. There were only 3 people left. "Forget it, let's all go back," the old man in charge of the team said. He contacted the government department of the county and asked them to take care of the security work of the cemetery. At night, the auxiliary police were on duty in the simple work shed. "Damn it, this is the wilderness," one of them complained. "How can we look after a grave here at night? What can we do? We are newcomers," another person said. This place is not haunted, right? Don't scare yourself. Woo woo. What's that sound? The wind. Hey, let me smoke a cigarette." As the man spoke, he took out a cigarette from his pocket. As soon as he lit it, a gust of wind blew in and put out the cigarette. He lit it again and put it out again. It repeated several times. "This is strange." The 2 men's faces changed. It was very unlucky to look at a grave in the forest in the middle of the night. "Hey, look, isn't that statue moving?" "What move? Don't scare me." The 2 men looked at the statue of the evil ghost in the tomb at the same time. It bared its teeth and looked ferocious. A pair of bell-like eyes seemed to be staring at them. Whoosh! A gust of wind blew in. Click! The light went out. It was dark inside. Click! There was a crisp sound. "Damn it! Ghost!" The 2 of them rushed out of the shed and into the rain. They rushed down the mountain in a panic. On the hill, the work shed stood there quietly. It was dark. In the rain, the 2 men ran wildly. They didn't know where to go. There is a village. In the dark night, the wind and rain were blowing. They couldn't see the road clearly. The 2 running people suddenly disappeared. It was still raining. In the people's hospital in the nearby county. "Doctor, how is he?" Several archaeologists surrounded a doctor and asked. His situation is not good. He fainted inexplicably. His heart rate was irregular. It was accompanied by a certain degree of heart failure. His blood pressure was very high. Does he have a history of heart disease and hypertension? No, he had a physical examination last month. Except for kidney stones, all his other indicators were normal. That's strange. How could he have such a disease? By the way, what is his occupation? Archaeology. Archaeology? Yes, we just came down from a grave. A grave? The doctor was stunned again. Could it be that he had run into a ghost? He almost subconsciously thought in this direction. Should he be hospitalized first? Oh, okay. They helped to go through the hospitalization procedures. What's going on? Hey, he was fine at the beginning. He was talking and laughing. Why did he suddenly die? Hey, do you think there is really a ghost? Don't talk nonsense. Hey, it's not impossible, the doctor said. You see, we haven't had a smooth journey since the beginning of the excavation. When we just started the excavation, people were injured. This afternoon, people died. Now, Mr. He is like this. Didn't the feng shui master say that there was something wrong with the ancient tomb? You're scaring yourself. Professor, you're here. Why are you here? How is Mr. He? The old man asked. I've already checked him. His condition is not very good. The old man personally went to the doctor in charge and carefully asked him again. After knowing that the old man was a professor from a famous school, the doctor naturally answered more carefully than before. After coming out of the doctor's office, the old man said to the people waiting outside, "If it's not good, observe him for one night and transfer him to another hospital tomorrow." Okay. Professor, I'll drive you back. One of the people drove the old man back to the hotel to rest. The night passed just like that. The next morning, the rain was a lot lighter. When they reached the top of the hill, they found that the two auxiliary policemen who had been guarding the tomb in the evening had disappeared. The problem was that the car was still on the mountain road below. Hey, where are they? At first, they just thought that the two of them had gone somewhere and would be back soon. But after waiting for a long time, they still didn't see them. Then, they looked around and found the flashlight in the grass. They became anxious and immediately mobilized people to look around. They didn't find them on the top of the hill, so they looked down the hill. However, they didn't find them in the village at the bottom of the hill. Finally, they found two people in a big pit near the village. After several days of rain, the big pit was full of water. The two people floated there. When they pulled them out, they were no longer breathing. Two more people had died. Chapter 7:15. At this moment, panic spread. The excavation of the ancient tomb became more difficult. Some villagers came out to stop the excavation. After all, they lived there and relied on the mountain for their livelihood. If the excavation continued, who would dare to go up the mountain? The old professor leading the team hesitated. Accidents happened one after another. It was not a coincidence. Was there really something in the ancient tomb? For example, an invisible ghost or a curse? The rain was still falling from the sky. The remaining archaeologists did not enter the site again. One of their colleagues still needed to be transferred from the county hospital today. After a night of conservative treatment, not only did his condition not improve, but it continued to worsen. Bad things happened one after another in the past few days. Professor, we'll go. You don't have to follow us. Yes, you don't look good. You need to rest, the old professor said. Well, okay, call me if you need anything, the old professor said. Okay, I know, the old professor said. The excavation work was put on hold for the time being. The county's public security department also came to investigate. After all, two auxiliary police officers had died at once. This was a big case, and the cause of their deaths must be explained. Unfortunately, there were no surveillance cameras near the mountain, but there were 2 temporary ones installed on the mountain. The surveillance cameras could only capture a short scene. The 2 men ran out of the temporary shed in a panic and rushed down the mountain in a panic, as if something terrible was chasing them. After that, there were no more images of the 2 men's whereabouts. What the hell is going on? The police officers in charge of investigating the case were also a little confused. Could it be that they encountered ghosts? I heard that since the ancient tomb was excavated, there have been many accidents, another policeman said. Why don't we go in and have a look? The policeman looked at the shed standing alone in the forest. Well, what are we going to check? Wait, I suggest we ask the archaeologists first, the policeman said. Several police officers found the remaining archaeologists in the county guesthouse and questioned them separately. Is one of you critically ill? Yes, he has been sent to the provincial hospital, the archaeologist said. What illness? I'm not sure. The hospital in Xi'an couldn't find the cause. When did you get sick? He suddenly fainted yesterday afternoon. As for when he started to fall ill, we really don't know. He was still talking and laughing with us in the morning. He's doing pretty well. Yes. After asking the archaeology team, they went to the mountain village to ask the villagers if they had heard or seen anything unusual last night. In the end, they did not find any useful information, but they heard a warning from the villagers. Don't go any closer to the tomb. There's a curse there. The feng shui masters have warned us not to dig there, but they didn't listen. People died one after another. This statement seemed to be widely accepted by the villagers at the foot of the mountain. A very big possibility had appeared in the minds of the investigating police officers. The 2 of them were guarding the ancient tomb at night. Then, they encountered something terrible that made them terrified. They ran down the mountain in a panic. At that time, it was also at night and it was raining. They couldn't see the road at all. So, they accidentally rushed into the big hole and drowned. Apart from this, he really couldn't find a more suitable reason. What could scare them? This was the question in the heart of the policeman handling the case. Could it really be those things that didn't exist? It was still raining in the sky. In the afternoon, a car drove into the mountain village. The 2 men got out of the car. We have to come again, the policeman said. Senior, we haven't recovered from our injuries yet, the man said. I'm worried that something will happen here, the policeman said. The 2 men were Miao Sanding and Lu Sifang, who had gone to the mountain village to find Wang Yao to save their lives a few days ago. After they left the mountain village, they rested for 2 days. Then, they went back thousands of miles away. It's because we observed the feng shui, determined the tomb, and dug out the ancient tomb, which caused these things, Miao Sanding said. We are injured, which is retribution. If other people are hurt because of this, I will feel uneasy. Originally, he wanted to come alone, but Lu Sifang insisted on following him. In fact, they could have just ignored these things. When they arrived at the mountain village, they found the family. Master, are you all right? The middle-aged man who invited them was very surprised to see them. Last time, when they went to the cemetery, they happened to dig out the ancient tomb. Then, the 2 men's faces became very ugly. They warned them not to get close to the ancient tomb and left in a hurry. As a result, someone directly reported it to the local department. Then, the following things happened. He didn't expect that the 2 men would come again. How is the ancient tomb? Don't mention it, the middle-aged man said. 3 people have died, the middle-aged man said. What? Miao Sanding was shocked. How could this be? Didn't I warn you not to get close to the ancient tomb? Yes, we didn't get close, but the people of the archaeological team came. They took charge of the excavation of the ancient tomb, and then there began to be problems one after another. The middle-aged man was also angry about this matter. He was doing business in the city, and his business was doing well. He heard that his father wanted to take care of the grave early to prepare for his funeral. He was a filial person, and many elders in the village did the same. Therefore, he specially asked someone to invite the two in front of him. In the end, he did not expect that it would cause a lot of trouble. Now, many people in the village had opinions about him. They said that the reason why such a grave was dug out and dirty things made people panic was because of him. It was a typical case of good intentions doing bad things. Coincidentally, the two men came. The matter was caused by him, so he had to end it. It could be regarded as an explanation to the villagers. "Tell me in detail," the middle-aged man said. "Oh, okay, please come in," the middle-aged man said. He invited the two men into the house. The middle-aged man then told them in detail what had happened in the past few days. Oh no! The two men looked at each other. The thing they worried about the most had happened. "This tomb is really strange," the middle-aged man said. "Master, you have to help solve this matter," the middle-aged man said. "Otherwise, the people in our village won't dare to go up the mountain." "Don't worry, this matter was caused by me," Meow Sanding said. "I will be responsible for solving it." However, the two of them knew how to read feng shui, but they didn't know how to kill monsters. Professional things had to be done by professionals. This place is not far from Dragon Tiger Mountain. "Let's go there," Meow Sanding finally said after thinking. "Okay," the middle-aged man said. "Before that, we have to go up the mountain and have a look," the middle-aged man said. "Ah, again?" the middle-aged man asked. "Yes, we have to go," the middle-aged man said. The two men went up the mountain in the rain. This chi. The two men stopped at the foot of the mountain. It was lifeless. This was the worst kind of chi. The mountains and rivers had spiritual chi, which was supposed to be beautiful. "Let's go up the mountain," the middle-aged man said. They could see the shed on the mountain from a distance, standing there alone. "Okay, we don't need to go up," Meow Sanding said. "We have to hurry," the middle-aged man said. The two of them left the mountain and rushed to Mount Longhu without stopping to rest. Thousands of miles away, in the provincial hospital of Qi Province. "What do you mean?" Hong Nan was very angry at this time. In the past few days, he couldn't hold a cup in his hand. He couldn't sit, stand, eat, or sleep. He had lost nearly 20 pounds. It was a life worse than death. Now, he heard such a piece of news. "Our lawyers have already talked to them," Hong Nan said. "They can't get sent out." "Then think of another way," Hong Nan said. "Don't let him talk. Do you understand?" "Yes, Brother Nan," Hong Nan said. "And what about the doctor?" "Brother Nan, what do you mean?" "What do you think I mean?" Hong Nan roared. "Let him die, and die a horrible death." Fortunately, it was an independent warm room. The people in the room were all his men. At this time, he looked like a mad dog. Lin. "Brother Nan. 5 million. Let his entire family die. We can't let them die too peacefully." Hong Nan panted heavily. Chapter 7:16. His brows furrowed into a knot. His stomach started to hurt again. Countless little bugs were crawling inside, biting and biting. "Do it right away." "Yes, I know. Brother Nan, take care of yourself." There was a lot of sweat on Hong Nan's forehead. His body kept shaking. "Call the doctor." "Yes, Brother Nan." The young man who accompanied him rushed out. After a while, a doctor came in. "It's hurting again." "Yes," Hong Nan gritted his teeth. This was 2F*King painful. It was even more painful than being stabbed and twisted by a knife. "Give me painkillers." "Okay, wait a moment." After the doctor went out, he came back in with a nurse. He gave Hong Nan a shot of painkillers. He let out a long sigh of relief. Finally, he could rest for a while. "Huh?" The pain suddenly appeared again. "What's going on?" In the past few days, he had been in pain several times a day. It was mainly in his abdomen and head. After the injection, the pain would subside. He could finally feel comfortable for a while. However, today's situation suddenly happened. He had just received the injection, and it immediately hurt again. It can't be a mistake, right? Call the doctor. He was in so much pain that he curled up like a prawn thrown into a pot of oil. The pain in his abdomen did not lessen at all. Instead, it was like a tide, wave after wave. It was painful. It was too painful. How could this be? The doctor who came to see the patient's situation was also stunned. Logically speaking, he should not be in so much pain after receiving the painkillers. Give him another injection. Therefore, the nurse gave him another injection, but it was still ineffective. Change the medicine. There was not only one kind of painkillers, there were several kinds. Soon, another kind of painkiller was given, but the effect was still limited. Hong Nan was still lying on the hospital bed, screaming in pain. Think of a way, quickly think of a way. Screaming obviously could not relieve the pain. Use morphine. Although technology had advanced, this was still one of the most useful analgesics. It was effective for all kinds of pain, but its shortcomings were also very obvious. This kind of drug was very easy to make people dependent on it and then become addicted. The effect was very significant and the pain was finally suppressed. Huff huff. Hong Nan panted heavily. He felt as if there wasn't enough air to breathe. I want oxygen. Give him oxygen. In the same hospital, in the same building, on another floor, in a ward. A scream. A nurse ran out of a ward with a panicked expression. Her upper body was covered in blood, and there was a knife on her right shoulder. Blood kept flowing out. Little Ting. Seeing this, the medical staff hurried forward to help. Send him to the surgery department, quick. What happened? Big brother, calm down, big brother. In this ward, a few people were pressing a bald man onto the bed. The man opened his mouth and roared like a madman. Crack. He suddenly bit a person's arm and then bit it hard, not letting go. It hurts, big brother, let go, let go. He pulled with all his strength, but the bald man didn't let go. Open his mouth. Sedative. At this time, the medical staff came in. After injecting the man, he was still struggling. Again. Another injection. This time, the man was obedient. Oh my God! The young man who was bitten rolled up his sleeves. There were 2 rows of clear teeth marks on his arm. Blood was flowing out. Hurry up and treat it in case it gets infected, the doctor said. SSS, doctor, is this disease contagious? I'm not sure. The young man was so scared that he quickly treated his wound. He was afraid that he would be infected and become a madman. Prepare to go through the procedures and send him to the psychiatry department. Okay. Brother Nan, the boss has been sent to the psychiatry department. Why? The boss just stabbed a nurse with a knife. Is the nurse dead? No, she was stabbed in the shoulder, the doctor said. It's fine as long as she's not dead, Zhong Luchuan said. Big brother is easily agitated. How can you treat him as a psychopath? Go and talk to the doctors. If you need money, just spend it. Yes. F***CK. Hong Nan cursed angrily. The 2 of them were like this today because of the doctor. They couldn't let him have a good time. Even if he died, he couldn't die too easily. On Nanshan Hill in the mountain village, what? Sanxian, I know, Zhong Luchuan said. We are just experimenting. Wang Yao picked a lot of wild grapes from the mountain. Although they did not look as good as the grapes that were grown on a large scale, they tasted good. He planned to use the remaining grapes to make wine for his family. It was his first time using what he had learned. San Xian followed beside him and barked softly from time to time. There was information and videos on the internet about how to make wine at home. It didn't seem difficult. Okay, let's make this bucket first. Wang Yao clapped his hands. At the foot of the mountain, in a house, Zhong Luchuan had just received a message. He frowned. This is troublesome. That night, after dinner, he went to Wang Yao's house. Sir, can we talk in private? The two of them went out, and Zhong Luchuan told Wang Yao what he knew. 5 million. Yes, this kind of thing hasn't happened for many years. He's very rich, Wang Yao said. It is indeed very rich. The key is that there are many desperados who don't have money. This money will make them take risk. Let me think. Wang Yao pondered for a moment. If the two Hong brothers suddenly died, wouldn't this matter be left unsettled? Well, of course, Zhong Luchuan said. If people die, no one will pay for it. Removing the firewood from under the cauldron was indeed the best way. I have to go out for a while. Don't worry about things here, Zhong Luchuan said. Sorry to trouble you again. It's my pleasure. Wang Yao was not at ease leaving Zhong Luchuan alone, so he called a few people. He asked Sun Yunxing for a few professional bodyguards. He also called Zhou Xiong. After all, they were from a martial arts family. Someone should be ignored, Zhong Luchuan said. I'll send someone over tonight. I'll be there tomorrow, Zhou Xiong replied. The next day, Sun Yunxing personally came to the village with 7 or 8 people. In the afternoon, Zhou Xiong came with a thin young man, who was his junior and also from the same village. His name was Zhou Anxin. Sorry to trouble you, but try not to let my parents know. Don't worry, sir. Are you going to the northeast? Yes, I'm going to their lair to find some interesting information, Wang Yao said. I'll arrange for someone to go with you, Zhong Luchuan said. He knows the local situation. Okay. Wang Yao did not expect the person he arranged to be the stiff-faced man, Hao. Hello, sir. Hao's voice was as stiff as his expression. That night, the two of them went directly to the Hong brothers' hometown, Dengzhou, where they had made their fortune. The night in Dengzhou was bustling. It faced the sea. Even in such a hot summer, it was still cool. Hao was very efficient in his work. Sir, I've arranged a place for you to stay, Hao said. I've also contacted someone. He knows something. Let's meet him first. Okay. Half an hour later, in a cafe, a man with a big gold chain and a string of beads in his hand came to the two of them. Brother Hao, you haven't been here for a long time. The man was very happy to see Hao. Obviously, the two of them had known each other for a long time. Hello, Mr. Wang, this is my brother Li Chunwei, Hao said. Just teach me Wei, Wang Yao said. I have something to ask you. Go ahead. Hong Nan and Hong Wen. Brother Hao, do you have a grudge against them? No, I want to know some details about them, Wang Yao said. As soon as he said that, Li Chunwei understood. These two people have been very powerful in Dengzhou in the past 2 years. They are very domineering. Many people are watching them. Chapter 7:17. They were overbearing and unreasonable. Many people had suffered losses because of them. They were angry but did not dare to say anything. In the past few years, Dengzhou has developed very fast, especially real estate, Li Chunwei said. It's inevitable that they would encounter some difficult households. They specialize in this business. When there are difficult households to deal with, they are responsible for settling them. They have made a fortune from this. Now they have a company that deals with transportation, loan sharks, and debt collectors. In Dengzhou, they have connections with both the black and white. By the way, I heard that they also have a brother who is a senior official in Jing. Wang Yao knew some of this information. The two brothers, the eldest brother is a lunatic, and the second brother is a psychopath, Li Chunwei continued. Oh! It's widely rumored in the underworld that the eldest brother, Hong Wen, is a psychopath. When he goes crazy, he doesn't recognize his family and kills everyone he sees. The second brother, Hong Nan, has a twisted personality and is temperamental. He once had his hands and feet cut off because someone spat at him on the street. So arrogant, Wang Yao said. Yes, so few people in Dengzhou dare to provoke them. Brother Hao, do you have a grudge against them? Yes, Wang Yao said. "TSK, you have to be careful," Li Chengwei said. Li Chengwei said, "But you're fine. You're in Dao City, and you have Mr. Sunday. Everyone in Qi province knows him." "Don't worry, you won't be implicated," Hao said. "Hey, what are you talking about? Am I such a timid person? If it weren't for you, I might have been stabbed to death," Li Chengwei said. "Where is their company?" "In Fushan Mountain, sir." Hao turned to look at Wang Yao. "Let's go and have a look," Wang Yao said. "Let's go. Take us there." "Okay. Wait, let's change the car. Your car is a bit eye-catching." Wang Yao pointed to the BMW X5 parked outside. "Okay." The three of them and one car headed toward Fushan Mountain in the night. "Dengzhou has changed a lot in the past few years," Hao said. "It has changed a lot. You haven't been back for some time, right?" "Yes." Although Dengzhou and Dao City were right next to each other, he had rarely visited Dengzhou in the past few years. He had passed by Dengzhou a few times. "Are you from Dengzhou?" Wang Yao asked. "My maternal grandmother's family is from Dengzhou. I've been here for more than 10 years, so I can be considered half a Dengzhou citizen. In fact, he used to be in the underworld of Dengzhou. At that time, he was quite famous. But later, by chance, he met Sun Jingrong, who appreciated him and put him in an important position. He worked hard with him and rarely came back to Dengzhou." After about 40 minutes, the car stopped outside a courtyard. There was a sign hanging at the entrance that read Wennan Trading Company. In a courtyard, there was a small 4-story building in the middle. There were several transport vehicles parked in the courtyard. The lights were still on inside, and they could vaguely hear the voices of a few people. "You guys wait here. I'll go in and take a look," Wang Yao said. "Sir, shall I go with you?" "No need, I can do it myself." The car stopped by the roadside, and Wang Yao got out of the car. In one step, he was on the other side of the road. F***ck, Brother Hao, am I seeing things? Li Chengwei, who was sitting in the car, rubbed his eyes hard and looked outside. The young man had disappeared. Immortal, monster, devil? "No, sir, is a master." Hao was not too surprised. Earlier, when he was in the mountain village, he had seen how amazing Wang Yao was. They were helpless. The three of them, who were about to open their eyes and wait for death, were not a match for him. In the words of Mr. Huang, he was like an immortal on earth. Wang Yao jumped over the courtyard wall, which was several meters high. He landed lightly like a feather. Woof! A dog barked. There was also a dog in the courtyard, a wolfhound. It noticed that a stranger had entered, so it auditioned. Silence. Wang Yao stepped in front of it and stared at it. Ow! The wolfhound barked in a low voice and lay on the ground with its tail between its legs, as if it had seen a fierce tiger in the mountain. "Hey, what's the sound outside?" In the duty room, 4 men were playing mahjong with their arms bare. One of them looked outside the room. Did someone come in? Who would come in at this time? Listen carefully. Did the dog stop barking? Well, yes. Hey, maybe it's a mouse? Wang Yao walked in from the front door alone. Creak. The sound of the door opening. Being. Hey, is it the sound of the door opening? No, it's not. I'll go out and have a look. Hey, don't look at my cards. In the hall on the first floor, the ceiling light was on. The glass door was closed. It was dark outside. There was no one. Hey, I heard wrong. Hey, have you been a little too often recently? Take some Luweidihuang pills to nourish yourself. How old are you? Well, let's play cards. East wind. Bang. Wang Yao went up to the second floor. In the dark corridor, he could see things as if it were daytime. He walked slowly along the corridor. He went to the finance room to have a look. The door was locked. It was the kind of security door. It opened. With a click, the door was directly broken by his external force. This time, the movement was not small. What's that sound? In the duty room on the first floor, several people stopped playing mahjong. The sound of the door opening. Go out and have a look. Several people picked up the iron bars standing in the corner and went out. There was no problem on the first floor. There was no problem on the second floor. On the third floor. Why is the door open? That's the finance room. The four people carefully walked into the room with iron bars. The thick security door was broken by external force. It could be seen that the door was deformed. Good evening. A voice came from inside. Who was it? A black shadow. Thud, thud. They all fell to the ground and fainted. Outside the courtyard, in the car, Li Chungwei had a cigarette in his mouth. He looked outside from time to time and then looked back at Hao, who was sitting quietly in the back. Brother Hao, you're still the same. Don't smoke or drink. Yes. Hey, you have to have some hobbies. Hey, I'm out. Wang Yao jumped out of the courtyard. He came to the front of the car and got in. Let's go. Okay. The car started and disappeared into the night. After arriving at the place where they lived, the two of them got out of the car. Brother Hao, remember to call me if you have any orders. I'll be there at any time, Li Chungwei said. Okay. Wait. Just as he was about to leave, he was stopped by Wang Yao. Sir, what orders do you have? He had seen Wang Yao's magic. He did not know why, but he was subconsciously afraid of him. He unconsciously stuttered a little. That kind of thing, don't do too much of it, Wang Yao said. Ah! Li Chungwei was stunned. He did not understand what Wang Yao meant. Everything needs to be done more, Wang Yao said. Too much is bad for the body. Recently, do you often feel that your waist and knees are weak? Sometimes you suddenly have tinnitus? Hey, how can you tell? Li Chungwei hurriedly asked. He had been having this problem recently. Excessive sex, Wang Yao said. Don't take it lightly. Wang Yao gently poked his waist. Oh my God! He jumped to his feet. In an instant, he broke out in a cold sweat. Wang Yao's poke just now was really painful. It was as if a needle had suddenly pierced his waist. Does it hurt? It hurts too much. His face changed. It's not too late to feel the pain. When you can't feel the pain, you'll be finished, Wang Yao said. Gulp. Li Chungwei swallowed his saliva. Then, sir, what should I do? You're not allowed to have sex for 3 months. 3 months? Li Chungwei was shocked. In the past few years, because of the compensation for the demolition and relocation, he suddenly had several houses and nearly 10 million worth of asset. This was a typical example of getting rich all of a sudden. With money, most men would think of luxury cars and beautiful women. He was the same. He bought a luxury car worth millions. With money, he naturally had no shortage of women. It was easy to indulge, but difficult to restrain. Women were like drugs. Once you got addicted to it, you would get addicted. Now, he wanted to hook up with beautiful women. Wang Yao asked him to abstain from sex for 3 months, which was worse than stabbing him with a knife. Chungwei, you can't go wrong if you listen to Sir. Hao also advised. Okay, I got it. He promised and drove away. Chapter 7:18. The two of them went into the hotel. Wang Yao took off his backpack and poured out a few notebooks and more than a dozen stacks of cash, which he had taken from the company. Take a look. Are these things useful? Wang Yao said. Okay. Hao picked them up and looked at them carefully. His face changed. They must be useful. I'll call some more people. Sorry to trouble you. Hao called the people in Dao. They'll come over overnight. There's no need to rush, Wang Yao said. They've already set off. Thank you, Wang Yao said after thinking for a moment. This time, he owed the Sun family a favor. Hao put the money away and allowed him to leave. I'll donate this money to the children who have dropped out of school, Wang Yao thought. Anyway, it's likely to be some ill-gotten wealth. It was quiet at night. In Wannan Trading Company, 4 young people were lying on the cold ground. Well, where is this? One of them opened his eyes and found that it was dark. Sleep a little more. No. He quivered and wanted to stand up, but found that he had a terrible headache. Ah, who the hell dares to sneak attack me? He hurriedly woke up his companions who were still unconscious on the ground. What's wrong? What else could it be? Someone came in and knocked us out. Look, what's missing? They hurriedly turned on the light and looked. The finance room had been burglarized. The safe had been knocked open, and the things inside had been stolen. Oh no. Hurry up and tell sister-in-law. Now, their 2 brothers were not in the company. They had gone to do things. In the company, sister-in-law had the final say. What? The safe has been broken into? The woman on the other end of the phone was very uneasy when she heard the news. She rushed over from home. The money and the account books were all gone. Her face became very ugly. The money was secondary. The key was the account books. If they fell into the hands of some people, it was easy to see something they wanted from them. Tax evasion and tax evasion were secondary. Who did it? This fashionably dressed woman was very angry. In Dengzhou, who didn't know the background of this company? Coming here to steal things and taking on a part-time job was tantamount to provoking the Almighty. They must be tired of living. Well, I don't know. Were you guys on duty last night? Yes. Someone came into the house and you didn't even know? Were you all asleep? No, sister-in-law, no one. We were knocked unconscious. Knocked out? Are there a lot of them? The woman was surprised. These people were gangsters. They had done a lot of fighting and were very experienced in actual combat. I don't know. You don't know this and you don't know that. What else can you do? Oh right, check the surveillance cameras. Several people hurried to the duty room to check the surveillance footage. I saw it. They saw a figure, but the image of this person was very blurry. What's going on? Make it clearer. I've adjusted the resolution to the highest level. Look, you can even see the handrails of the stairs clearly. In fact, in the video, other things could be seen clearly. Only this person was very blurry. It was as if he was surrounded by a layer of fog. What's going on? It's hard to say. The person came to the door of the finance room on the 3rd floor. He reached out and pressed the door. Then the door opened. F***ck. The few people who saw this scene were shocked. Their scalps were numb. They saw that the thick security door of the finance room was deformed. It was broken by an external force. They were wondering how the other party caused such damage. They didn't expect that it was just a light press. How much strength did he have? Was he still human? Who is this? Seeing this, the woman was also stunned. This was obviously not an ordinary person. For a moment, she thought a lot. Of course, she was very clear about her family's situation. She had started from a dishonorable business. Over the years, she had done all kinds of bad things and offended many people. There were too many enemies. She really couldn't think of anyone who was more likely to do this. Or was it purely a coincidence? Sister-in-law, should we call the police? A man asked. Of course, why not? They finally chose to call the police. The next morning, at dawn, the Sun family arranged for people to come to Tao City again. There were 3 people and a team of professional lawyers. After seeing the materials that Wang Yao had brought, the 3 of them had a simple meeting and told Wang Yao the result. The 2 brothers were dead meat. The account books were secondary. The key was the notebook, which recorded all the bad things that the 2 brothers had done. It was quite informative. Last night, Wang Yao read it carefully and came to the conclusion that the 2 brothers had done so many bad things that it would not be an exaggeration to say that they would die 10 times over. What do you want to do about this matter? What do I want to do? Of course, I want to do it quickly and let the 2 brothers suffer retribution earlier. Can you leave it to us? A middle-aged man in the lead asked. Wang Yao turned to look at Hao. He didn't know any of the three people. Hao nodded. Sir, they are the Sun family's special lawyer team. They have been working together for years. I'll have to trouble you then, Wang Yao said. It's no trouble at all. Several people took the materials away. They were professional and did not drag things out. They were clean and neat. Let's go too, Wang Yao said. Okay, Hao said. Just as they were about to leave, Li Chengwei came. Brother Hao, what happened last night was exposed. They called the police. He did not seem to be nervous, but when he spoke, he looked at Wang Yao. After all, it was this person who went in last night. Who knew if he had left any traces or evidence? Well, I see. Hey, why was he so calm and calm? You be careful. Wang Yao glanced at the young man. It seemed that he did not listen to his words. Be careful? In an instant, he understood the meaning of Wang Yao's words. He did go to find a beautiful girl last night and had a good time. When he walked today, he still felt that his legs were a little weak. He did not expect to be seen through by this person. Let's go, Wang Yao said. If he did not listen to the advice, it would be too late to regret it in the future. On the same day, Wang Yao returned to the mountain village. On the other hand, Sun Jingrong's lawyer team returned to Dao to see him. Do you need me to come forward? After hearing what the leader said, he was slightly startled. Yes, even if this thing is handed over to Dengzhou City, I'm afraid that someone among them will make things difficult for us. After all, the relative of these two people is indeed an official in the capital, and he has some power. Moreover, the officials of Dengzhou City are also involved in this matter. The implications are very wide. The provincial capital? It's best to go to a higher place, Sun Jingrong said. I heard that there is an inspection team in Qi province at this time. I don't know if you can find a way to give this to them. Let me think about it, Sun Jingrong said. Sun Jingrong asked. Those people were not so easy to meet. Of course, he thought he would be able to meet them. On the other hand, Wang Yao had returned to the mountain village. In just 2 days, the mountain village was very lively. 2 waves of people came for the 5 million yuan. They were all desperados, but unfortunately, they met professionals, especially Zhong Luchuan, who was an absolute expert and master. Although these people were desperados, their means were not good. The people who came were directly taken down before they could touch Wang Yao's door. Interesting, really interesting. They dared to come with such little ability. That afternoon, Wang Yao returned to the mountain village. He told his parents at home and went to find Zhong Luchuan to ask him about the situation in the past 2 days. In the past 2 days, 2 waves of people came, a total of 3 desperados, Zhong Luchuan said. They have been taken care of by me. Thank you very much. Wang Yao bowed deeply to thank him. No, sir, Zhong Luchuan said. Seeing this, Zhong Luchuan hurriedly stopped him. These things were just a piece of cake for him. It did not take much effort. On the contrary, Dr. Wang had saved his sister, who was his only family member now. Yes, Wang Yao said calmly, but his heart was very angry. Chapter 719. What he valued most was his family and kinship. Now, his family had been threatened again and again. If it were not for the help of these people, his family might have been killed. These people were really detestable. He walked back and forth for a few steps and then made a phone call. Okay, sir, I understand. Sun Yunxing did not look very good on the other end of the phone. What's wrong? Sun Jingrong, who was sitting not far in front of him, asked. Sir just called me and asked me about the document. He wants to get them immediately. Immediately? Yes, his tone is very serious. Sun Yunxing had never heard such a tone. I see, Sun Jingrong said. Tell him that I am already on the way to Ji, Sun Yunxing said. I will take the original documents to see the people in the inspection team. Leave a copy for him. Send it to the people in line immediately. Something must have happened there. Go and have a look. Okay. The car sped on the road. Sun Jingrong sat in the car and thought a lot. He really did not want to see those people at the moment because he was also in trouble. Sigh. Thousands of miles away, in a county, the rain finally stopped after several days, but the sky was still gloomy. On this day, several people came to the quiet mountain village. Two of them were dressed very strangely. After taking a closer look, they were actually two Taoist priests. The two people next to them were Miao Sanding and Lu Sifang, who had come to the mountain village 2 days ago and then left in a hurry. 2 days ago, when they came to the mountain village, they saw the mountain and the ancient tomb. They knew that the situation was critical, and the two of them were not proficient in this way. It was worth it to go to the nearby famous Taoist mountain, Mount Longhu, for help. The people on Mount Longhu did not just burn incense every day, walk the 8 trigrams heaven and earth steps, or hold a broken sword and chant. Among these people, many of them were truly talented, but not known to outsiders. Moreover, ordinary people could not ask them to help. Miao Sanding's sect and the Taoist sect of Longhu Mountain had a deep relationship. The friendship had been there for years. Here we are. The mountain was right in front of him. They had just asked the villagers and found out that no one had gone up the mountain in the past 2 days. Even the archaeological team had not gone up the mountain. There were only policemen downstairs to prevent the tomb robbers from going up the mountain to steal the cultural relic. After all, there had been one incident after another. As expected, the Yin Qi is quite strong. The two celestial masters from Mount Longhu only needed one glance to know that there was indeed something wrong with the mountain. It's an ancient tomb of the Ming dynasty. Brother, what do you think of the feng shui on this mountain? The heavenly master bowed to Miao Sanding. Earlier, my junior brother and I checked the place. The feng shui here is excellent, but this ancient tomb is also very strange. The two of us didn't find another ancient tomb in this mountain. Sigh. This time, the two of them had indeed made a mistake. If they had seen this place and the ancient tomb earlier, they would definitely not have allowed anyone to excavate it. But now that things had come to this, there was no point in regretting. They could only think of ways to make up for their mistakes as much as possible. Hiss, why is there such a dense Yin Qi in this place with excellent feng shui? Could it be that there is something sealed in this ancient tomb? One of the two heavenly masters asked. Let's go up and see, the heavenly master said. You two stop here, the heavenly master said. Keep this talisman with you. It can protect you. If we don't go down the mountain in 2 hours, immediately inform Mount Longhu. It was not that the celestial master Taoist was not lacking in confidence, but they had seen too many things. No one knew what was in this ancient tomb. If it was an ordinary thing, it would be easy to say, but if it was those terrifying ghosts, it would be hard to say. Okay. Miao Sanding took the talisman and put it in front of his chest. Be careful, the heavenly master said. The two heavenly masters were brothers, so they couldn't help much. They could only wait below and watch the two heavenly masters go up the mountain. The two heavenly masters went up the mountain very slowly. It's getting thicker and thicker. It seems that there is something extraordinary in this ancient tomb. The mountain was very quiet. The mountain wind was gentle. A gust of wind came and it was very cool. It was summer. As the saying went, spring was born, summer was long, autumn was harvested, and winter was stored. Summer was the time of the year when vitality was the most vigorous. In the forest, there were birds and insects chirping during the day. However, the mountain was very quiet. There was no sound, and it was even strange. The Yin Qi is spreading out and scaring away the birds and insects, the heavenly master said. Hiss. The closer they got, the more dignified the faces of the two heavenly masters became. One of the heavenly masters took out a few talismans from the bag he carried with him and murmured, Go. There was a shout. A few talismans flew out like birds returning to the forest. They scattered in all directions and then fixed themselves on the 4 tree trunks as if they were glued. They happened to be in the 4 directions of the ancient tomb. It was a very magical sight. It seemed that at this moment the wind in the mountain stopped. The 2 heavenly masters looked at each other and felt a little relieved. Then they went into the temporary workshed. The workshed was still the same as when they left that day. Nothing was moved. The corner of the ancient tomb was still excavated. The 2 heavenly masters took a closer look. After seeing the evil ghost statue in the tomb, their faces changed greatly. How could this thing be here? Suddenly, the wind outside the workshed started to blow again. The 4 talismans that were stuck on the 4 trunks suddenly burned for no reason. In an instant, they turned into ashes and drifted in the air. Ring, ring, ring. The copper bell hanging from the waist of one of the heavenly masters rang. It was as if there was an invisible hand holding it and shaking it. It's coming. The 2 heavenly masters immediately pulled out the swords on their back. They were really the legendary peachwood swords, just like the ones in novels and movies. Nothing appeared. The 2 heavenly masters suddenly waved their wooden swords. One of them cut horizontally and the other cut left. Crack. There seemed to be a sound. The 2 heavenly masters followed the sound and saw that behind the evil ghost statue, the thick door of the tomb, which was originally closed, had opened a gap. Suddenly, the wind started to blow. It was not the mountain wind, nor was it outside. It was in the workshed. Oh no! The 2 heavenly masters' faces changed greatly. At the foot of the mountain, Miao Sanding and Lu Sifang were waiting there. They looked at the time from time to time. Senior, do you think the 2 heavenly masters will have any problems? They should not, Miao Sanding said. They are the authentic descendants of Dragon Tiger Mountain. They are professionals. As soon as he finished speaking, he heard a shout from the mountain. It was very miserable. Oh no! Miao Sanding and Lu Sifang shouted at the same time. They subconsciously wanted to run up the mountain. Stop! Miao Sanding grabbed his junior fellow apprentice. At this time, even the 2 Taoist masters couldn't solve the problem. What could they, as amateurs, do? They would only add to the chaos and get themselves killed. Senior, shall we go to Dragon Tiger Mountain to ask for help? It's not time yet. Wait a little longer. Miao Sanding looked at the time. It was still early to the 2-hour time agreed with the 2 heavenly masters. It was not high now. It was not high yet. Don't get into trouble. As soon as Lu Sifang finished speaking, he saw a man rushing down the mountain. He was covered in blood and looked panicked. Before he reached the foot of the mountain, he suddenly fell to the ground. Quick, save him. Miao Sanding and Lu Sifang hurried over to help the man up. They saw that his face was pale, his breath was weak, and his body was frighteningly cold. What's going on? Quick, let's go back to Mount Longhu. After saying that, the person fainted. Let's go, hurry up. Miao Sanding and Lu Sifang did not dare to delay. They directly took the fainted heavenly master to Dragon Tiger Mountain. As for whether the man on the mountain was dead or alive, there was nothing they could do. Thousands of miles away, in the Provincial People's Hospital of Qi Province. Doctor, how is my brother? You have to be mentally prepared. What do you mean? His life may be in danger at any time. After the consultation of the experts, they were helpless about the patient's condition. The patient's illness was really strange. Not to mention other things, his pain was very painful. The pain did not come for no reason. Even if they used morphine, the effect was not very good. Chapter 720. There was also the failure of multiple organs, memory loss, and brain atrophy. The patient was sick all over. There was no good part of him. They couldn't find the cause of the disease. They could only treat the headache and the pain. There was no other way. You can also consider going to a better hospital, the doctor said. Although their hospital was the best in Qi province, it was not the best in the country. Maybe the hospitals in Jing could help. Okay, thank you, Hongnan said. What should we do? He was very clear about the situation of his two elder brothers. The two brothers were very close. Usually, they would discuss things with each other. However, their relationship with their families and their wives was not very good. They only maintained a superficial relationship. At this time, it should be up to them or their families to decide whether to continue to stay for treatment or go elsewhere. Let's ask Brother Nan. Do you think Brother Nan can make the right judgment in his current situation? We have to ask him. It's not up to us to decide. In the ward, Hong Nan was tied to the bed. His limbs were fixed. Something was stuffed in his mouth. He was afraid that he would accidentally bite his tongue. At this time, his face was ferocious. He was struggling and roaring. Die, die, I want him to die. His face was ferocious like an evil spirit. Creak. The door opened. A person came in. Brother Nan. Is he dead? What did you say? I asked if he is dead. Not yet. Two groups of people went and failed. Trash, a bunch of trash. I want him dead. His whole family is dead. Die, you want others to die. Do you know that you're about to die? The young man also felt that his boss was really hopeless. He was so sick, but he still wanted to kill the other person instead of how to cure his disease. If he was not crazy, what was? The two brothers were crazy. Was this family hereditary? Brother Jiu, what did Brother Nan say? After seeing a Jew, who had rushed over from Lianshan County a few days ago, come out of the ward, several people hurriedly asked. Brother Nan asked why that person is not dead yet. My God, what time is it? He still cares about this matter. Everyone was surprised. Is Brother Nan the same as Brother One? A young man murmured. Shut up, don't talk nonsense. Big Brother was crazy, and so was Second Brother. This was the consensus of the people who had been accompanying him in bed these days. Hey, what should we do now? They were now in a state of disunity, a group of dragons without a leader. Of course, using this term was praising them, but even if they were a group of hooligans, they still needed someone to lead them. Even if they did bad things, they still needed someone to lead them, right? What surprised them the most was that the people from the Public Security Bureau had arrived. Where are Hong Wen and Hong Nan? Yes, it's inside. Then, they heard the devastating news that their two brothers had committed a crime and needed to be investigated. In less than an hour after they heard the news, the 7 or 8 people who had been staying here all disappeared. No one cared about the lives of the two brothers who were tied to the hospital bed. What a joke! The police had already come to their door, so they must have committed a crime. They knew what they had done. Threats and intimidation were all small things. They had beaten and maimed people quite often. If they ran now, they might have a chance to escape. If they stayed here, they would most likely be invited in for tea. When the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. The tree had not fallen yet, but they had all scattered. The morality of the underworld was dog sh*t in front of their own lives and freedom. No one knew who spread the news that the Hong brothers had been investigated by the police and might have to spend the rest of their lives in prison quickly spread to the people in the underworld, especially those who were interested in earning the 5 million yuan. Go and find out if it's true or not. If they are arrested, who will give us the money? Go to Dengzhou right away. For what they have done, it is not enough to shoot them 10 times. If they are really investigated this time, there is no possibility of turning over. When the time comes, the money will be gone. Soon, some people went to Dengzhou while others went to Qi province. The news confirmed that the two brothers were indeed investigated. Moreover, they were not the only ones who were investigated. Some officials in Dengzhou were also investigated, who more or less had something to do with them. So, it's true? Tisk, fortunately we didn't go. The crisis was over just like that. The matter was resolved, but Wang Yao owed these people a favor. Mr. Du, who had once dominated the Bund, once said that a debt of gratitude was the most difficult to repay. Of course, this was for those who were righteous. If you did not keep your word and did not have the word trust in your eyes, it naturally did not matter. On Nanshan Hill, he was thinking about how to thank these people. This was not something that could be solved simply by treating them to a meal. I have an idea. He had a very good idea. So, he went to the county town and brought back a small bag of wooden plates, which were carved from boxwood. They were the size of a matchbox. On the front, there was the word medicine. On the back, there was a mountain. At the corner of each wooden plate, there was a small dent, which was vaguely visible as a handprint. After that, he brewed some special decoctions. The main ingredient was miasma grass, which could avoid miasma and kill poisonous insects. After boiling the decoction, he put all the wooden tokens into the decoction to soak them in. Ring. Buzz. His mobile phone suddenly rang. It was a text message from Sun Yunxing. There was a link on it. After opening it, it was a piece of news. The general content was that a criminal gang in Dengzhou had been involved in criminal activities for a long time. Some of the Dengzhou government officials had acted as a protection umbrella and received bribes. The case was still under further investigation. The main members of the criminal gang were surnamed Hong Wen and Hong Nan. Thank you. Come to the village when you are free. Wang Yao sent a text message. Sure. Soon, he received a reply. Well, Wang Yao stretched. At the foot of the mountain, an uninvited guest came to Zhong Liuchuan's house. What's wrong? Are you living in seclusion? Facing the young man, who was about his age and somewhat evil, Zhong Liuchuan was secretly wary. He had heard about the other party's methods. Do I need to report to you what I do? Zhong Liuchuan asked. Of course, we don't have hard rules, the young man said with a smile. The young man smiled and said, Don't be so nervous. I just heard that you are here, so I wanted to come and have a look. Why did you suddenly change your personality and become a hermit? Why? Do you really want to live in seclusion? Zhong Liuchuan did not speak. Hey, where is your sister? Zhong Liuchuan suddenly looked up and stared at the young man sitting in front of him. They are afraid of you, but I am not. Do you want to try? Try? Okay, here, the young man said with a smile. There was some disdain in his tone. Zhong Liuchuan did not explode. He took a few deep breaths to suppress his anger. The organization needs you, the young man said. I have already washed my hands of it, Zhong Liuchuan said. You can't just quit like that, the young man said with a smile. There are some things that you can't do. This is not your place, Zhong Liuchuan said. Think about it, the young man said. Remember to report to the company at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Zhong Liuchuan sat there with an ugly expression. The flowers here are blooming. Don't stop, the young man hummed a tune and walked slowly. Well, this village is really good, he whispered. If a few people die, it won't be good. What did you say? Ah. He was stunned and looked at the young man standing next to him. Hello, are you really talking to me? Yes, repeat what you just said, the young man said. Why? The young man asked with a smile. This village is very good, the young man said. Why do people die? The person who had inadvertently heard his words was naturally Wang Yao. Although his voice was so low that even standing next to him might not be able to hear it, Wang Yao was not an ordinary person. Oh, you are eavesdropping on me? Wang Yao stared at the stranger in front of him. His aura was very uncomfortable. Chapter 721. What he had just said was even more uncomfortable. It was not so simple to talk about people dying. This is indeed a good place, but there are people dying everywhere, he said with a smile. Don't you think so? His smile had an indescribable evil aura. This person must have killed someone before. Wang Yao thought. There was a faint smell of blood on him. He had felt this aura on more than one person. Goodbye. Tell me what you want to say before you go. Wang Yao stopped him. The young man looked at Wang Yao up and down, as if he was admiring a strange object. Interesting. What is your surname? My surname is Wang. While the two of them were talking, Zhong Luchuan came out of his house. He had been thinking about the man and suddenly realized that the man was a willful and reckless master. To put it bluntly, he was a psychopath who killed without batting an eye. Maybe he would hurt the people in the village. Thinking of this, he rushed out and saw that the man was stopped by another person. He hurriedly quickened his pace and came in front of the two people, putting his hand on his waist. Sir? After seeing the person who stopped the man, he was a little relieved. With his ability, compared to the man, he could not make any waves. Hey, why did you come out? Have you figured it out? The young man looked at Zhong Luchuan and smiled. Do you know each other? Kind of, Zhong Luchuan said. You called him sir? The young man looked back and carefully looked at him again. I can't see it, he said. I really can't see it. Who is he? Wang Yao asked directly. A killer, Zhong Luchuan said after thinking for a moment. Ah, how can you casually say such a big secret? The young man said with a smile. Although he looked surprised, it was obvious at first glance that he was pretending. In fact, he did not care at all. Tsk, it's a pity that he died so young, he sighed. It's a pity, Wang Yao said. Yes, you think so too, but you know my true identity. Those who know my true identity are either dead or my people. Unfortunately, I don't like men, he said with a smile as if he was joking. Be careful, sir. As Zhong Luchuan shouted, a foot-long dagger appeared in his hand. Clang! As soon as he took out the dagger, it fell to the ground. You! His expression became very ugly. He felt that his body had lost all strength in an instant and he fell to the ground. How do you feel? Do you feel weak all over, dizzy and nauseous? You're a professional, a gold medalist. How could you fall for it so easily? The young man chuckled. The higher-ups gave me an order. I have to do something. If you don't go, won't I lose face? He laughed. It's your turn. He turned around and smiled at Wang Yao. What an interesting and reckless fellow. Wang Yao nodded. He raised his hand and gently pressed in the air. Thud! The young man suddenly knelt on the ground. How could this be? The playful expression on his face was replaced by shock. At this moment, he felt as if there was a mountain pressing down on him. No, it wasn't pressing down. It was squeezing him from all directions. He felt a huge pressure all over his body. It was difficult for him to move, and he couldn't resist it. Crack! His bones made a crisp sound. This was 2F** King Unreal. Your name? What? Forget it. Wang Yao clenched his hand and turned it into a fist. Whoosh! The young man was sent flying backward, and then heavily hit the wall of a house, causing cracks to appear on the cement wall. Cough! Cough! The young man collapsed to the ground. He felt that his bones had fallen apart. Superpower! He opened his bleeding mouth and wanted to laugh, but it was uglier than crying. Be careful, sir, Wang Yao said. This person is extremely insidious and vicious. Whoosh! 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 The sound of something breaking through the air. Wang Yao waved his hand. The things that had broken through the air returned to their original path and shot into the young man's body at a faster speed. This is bad. After a moment, blood flowed from his eyes, ears, and nostrils. This is really a good place. This was his last thought before he died. He died just like that. Sir, let me handle it, Wang Yao said. He came for me. It was very difficult to hide a person's death in a mountain village in broad daylight. The police came and took away the man's body. Wang Yao thought for a moment and went to the police station. The death was a big case. The County Public Security Bureau took over. They found knives, silver needles, guns, and other instruments on the young man's body. Who is this person? The policemen in charge of investigating the case were stunned. The key problem was that they found that the person's ID card was fake. It was fake, but there was no such person on the internet. The forensic doctor in charge of examining the body was also surprised to see his body. The surface of his body was full of scars. There were knife wounds, gunshot wounds, and most of them were old injuries. The damage inside his body was even worse. There were many fractures in his body and ruptured internal organs. This kind of injury was like being hit by a car in a car accident. What is this? They found a unique tattoo on the young man's body. It was a snake with a dagger in its mouth. After some investigation, Wang Yao and Zhong Luchuan were released, but they could not leave Lianshan County for a short time. If there was any need, they had to cooperate with the police investigation. Who is he? Wang Yao asked. A killer, an organized killer, Zhong Luchuan said. Like the League of Assassins? Wang Yao asked. I'm hungry too, Wang Yao said. I'll treat you to dinner and listen to your story. Okay, Zhong Luchuan said. The place was the same restaurant they had gone down the mountain. There were a few dishes and a pot of tea. Neither of them liked drinking. Wang Yao didn't like drinking, and Zhong Luchuan didn't drink. It turned out that he had joined an organization, which was very loose at first glance. It was like a talent market. He could receive goods from there, but he had to pay a certain amount of remuneration. At first, he just took some jobs to collect debt. Later, he slowly came into contact with other things. He realized that the organization was unusual. They actually accepted assassinations. As long as the price was right, they would kill people. This was something that only happened in novels or movies. In this area, their organization was very strict. People voluntarily joined and voluntarily left to accept the protection of the organization. However, there was one rule. If the organization had a need, they had to give priority to obedience. He joined and did well. The completion rate of the task was very high, but it didn't take long for him to choose to quit. At that time, I was very short of money, but a task changed my mind, Zhong Luchuan said. I took a task, Zhong Luchuan said. The target was a family. In our line of work, we don't ask why. We are only responsible for doing things. He drank a cup of tea. The couple was in their 30s and had a very lovely daughter. They had a very happy family. I don't know why, but when I saw the girl, my heart suddenly softened. I gave up the task, but the family still died. The cause of death was a car accident. Later, I learned that the couple had seen something they shouldn't have seen. Someone wanted to silence them. Wang Yao didn't interrupt. He just listened quietly. It was hard to imagine that these plots, which could only be seen in movies and novels, actually happened in real life. Later, I quit and paid a sum of money, Zhong Luchuan said. Why did they still come to you? Wang Yao asked. That rule says that if there is a need, you have to give priority to obedience. Maybe they found something. When he said this, he looked worried. He had regretted joining that organization more than once. After knowing so many secrets, it would not be easy for him to quit. Tell me about the young man, Zhong Luchuan said. In our special kind of industry, the practitioners are actually divided into levels, Zhong Luchuan said. It's like a company will be divided into ordinary employees, middle managers, and managers. He was the top of the group. He went out to study more than once. Chapter 722. Oh, there are training exchanges in this area? Wang Yao was surprised. Yes, the world is big and there are all kinds of strange things, Zhong Luchuan said. He is talented and willing to work hard. He is a psychopath who likes to kill people and even abuse himself. However, it is undeniable that his success rate is extremely high. He is the trump card of the organization and does not easily make a move. I just did not expect to meet you here. That day, he had been worried that Wang Yao might be in danger. Although he knew that Wang Yao's cultivation was extremely high, that guy also had many means and had never failed. He did not expect to be defeated so easily. There was no room for him to fight back. Does he have a tendency to self-abuse? Zhong Luchuan asked. Yes, it is very famous. It is said that the way to improve oneself is through self-abuse training, Zhong Luchuan said. Then he is seriously ill, Zhong Luchuan said. He may be incurable. Self-abuse was also a kind of mental illness. Sometimes, mental illness was more terrible than physical illness. Zhong Luchuan was silent for a while. Sir, in fact, I am a bad person. When he said this sentence, he was very serious. I am not a judge, Wang Yao said after a moment of silence. Moreover, you helped me and saved my family. Wang Yao did not care about whether the past was right or wrong. Whether it was a bad person or a good person, he could not control it. He only looked at the present and the future. As he had just said, Zhong Luchuan had helped him more than once. He was not a bad person now. Thank you, sir. Zhong Luchuan was stunned. In fact, I am very curious, Zhong Luchuan said. Is there no one in charge of the so-called organization you mentioned? Wang Yao did not know the situation in other countries, but he was very clear about the domestic situation. The domestic control of knives was very strict, not to mention such an organization engaged in the assassination industry. Of course, there are people in charge, Zhong Luchuan said. The domestic situation is different from that of foreign countries. There was a period of time when it was very harsh. The organization was almost destroyed, but they found a very suitable scapegoat. It was not easy to cope with it. Then, their vitality was greatly damaged and they were dormant for a while. Who could organize such an organization? I don't know, Zhong Luchuan said. By the way, maybe the person who was killed by you knows. Him. By the way, Asen, who came last time, is also one of them. Him too? Yes, his level inside is about the same as mine. We've even fought before, but he probably knows more than me. Through an unexpected incident, a dinner for 2 people, Wang Yao accidentally came into contact with another side of the world. A legendary thing that he once thought only existed in novels and movies was actually real. Perhaps it was right beside him. I was hiding from them, Zhong Luchuan said. I didn't expect them to find me so soon. I'll leave with Anshin tomorrow. Originally, he thought that the matter had passed and it had been long enough that they might have forgotten. He also wanted to live a normal life with his sister. He didn't expect that everything would become an extravagant hope. Why? I know something that I shouldn't know, Zhong Luchuan said. I thought no one knew, but it seems that they should know. Even if he fails, there will be other people coming. Staying here will only cause more trouble for you. Trouble? Do you think I don't have enough trouble? Wang Yao was very sincere. Sir? Zhong Luchuan didn't expect Wang Yao to directly ask him to stay. Don't worry about causing me trouble. It's settled. Zhong Luchuan was silent for a long time. Let me think about it. Okay, let's eat. After dinner, the 2 of them returned to the mountain village. It was past 9 p.m., and the village was quiet. When Wang Yao returned home, his parents were still awake. They were watching TV, but their hearts were obviously not on the TV program. After hearing that Wang Yao had returned, Zhang Xiuying came out of the inner room. Are you okay? Something had happened in the village that day. Another person had died, and it had a lot to do with their son. The news spread quickly. Almost everyone knew about it. The couple was worried about their son. I'm fine, Wang Yao said. You should go to bed early. I'm going up the mountain. Okay, be careful on the road. At night, Wang Yao went up the mountain again. In the cottage, a bonfire was lit. The multifunctional pot for herbs was boiling slightly, exuding a unique medicinal smell. There were some wooden plates in the medicinal soup. Late at night, the lights in the cottage went out. The next morning, the sun was shining. The clinic was open for business. After checking on Wenwan, Wang Yao said, "She's fine." Really? Although she had felt that there was no problem with her body, hearing this from Wang Yao's mouth still made Wenwan and her son cry with joy. Really? That's great, that's great. Thank you so much. Wenwan didn't know how to express her inner joy at the moment and express her gratitude to Wang Yao. In a way, it was a terminal illness, but Wang Yao had miraculously cured it. The price was that more than 1/3 of the box of ointment for continuing life in the world had been used. The mother and son left after thanking him profusely. Life was the most important thing for everyone, not to mention things like freedom. Should one live an ignoble life or die with dignity? Most people would probably choose the former, right? In the detention center of Lianshan County, in a prison cell, Sun stared at the window that was only a few square feet. He was very thin and his face was strangely red. I didn't expect this to be my home. He sighed. His body trembled slightly. He gritted his teeth as if he was enduring some kind of pain. Well, well, well. When the sun shone through the window into the prison cell, he had closed his eyes peacefully. The rays of sun shone on his body. What, the prisoner is dead? Yes. How did he die? I don't know, but it shouldn't be suicide. Tisk, troublesome. Even in the prison, a dead person was a troublesome thing. They needed to write a report. If they encountered some prisoners with a background, it would be even more troublesome. Hurry up and go through the procedures. Yes. The news didn't take long. Wang Yao also knew about it. Is he dead? Yes, he died in the prison cell. I remember you once said that he wouldn't live long, Wang Mingbao, who told Wang Yao the news, said. Yes, he was sick, a very rare disease. He had already seen it when he came to the mountain village to try to kill him. Tsk, why did he become a killer when he was sick? Have some tea. Wang Yao poured him a glass of water. Thank you. Well, this tea is good. Do you have any more? Give me some to try. Yes, take it later. The two brothers continued to chat. On the tree outside, the cicadas were a little irritated. Have you been going out a lot recently? Well, you don't look very good, Wang Yao said. You have to pay attention. There is no such thing as earning all the money. I know, Wang Mingbao said with a smile. Even if I am sick, I still have you. His brother could even cure the incurable disease. His part-time job was the reincarnation of a miracle doctor. It's better not to be sick or suffering. In fact, the process of every illness and treatment was damage to the body. If it was light, it was nothing. It could be repaired. If it was serious, it would be serious damage to the body's origin. It was so serious that it could not be repaired by ordinary methods, such as a major surgery. Someone came. Wang Yao heard a knock on the door and saw a person come in. It was not a patient but Zhong Luchuan. Sir. Sit down and have some tea, Wang Yao said. I've thought about it. It's better to leave. Zhong Luchuan's answer surprised Wang Yao. Why? Wang Yao asked. I know how terrible they are, Zhong Luchuan said. They are like maggots attached to bones. Once they stick to you, you can't get rid of them. Haha, do you think that if you leave, they won't come back here and trouble us? Wang Yao asked. You have been here before. They will definitely send someone to investigate. Well, in fact, I want you to stay, Wang Yao said. I hope you can take care of this place, my family, and the mountain village when I am not here. When Wang Yao said this, he looked at Zhong Luchuan. He was very sincere. He did have selfish motives, and what he said was the truth. Chapter 723. Zhong Luchuan was silent. Should he leave or stay? After a while, he responded, "Well, I'll stay." In fact, for him, it did not make much difference whether he stayed or left. Since they could find this place, he could leave and go somewhere else. As long as they wanted to find him, they could find him. It was just a matter of time. He could not live there for a while and then go to another place for a while like a migratory bird. He could, but his sister could not. She could not follow him everywhere. She was like a rootless duckweed. If they stayed, they would have someone to rely on, a very strong person. That person was the young man in front of him. Whether it was medical skills or other things, they were all top-notch. "It's good that you stay," Wang Yao said. While they were talking, Wang Mingbao was smoking in the yard. Squeak! Squeak! 2 swallows were hovering above his head. He did not know when the pair of swallows had settled down under the eaves of Wang Yao's clinic. "Sir, do you use kung fu or superpowers?" This question had been jumping in his mind for the past few days. He was very eager to know. "Is there any difference?" Wang Yao asked. "Yes, of course there is," Zhong Luchuan said. "Kung fu can be learned. It can be obtained through postnatal efforts, but superpowers are different. They are innate talents. They can't be obtained through learning." "You said superpowers, and those 2 people also said the same thing," Wang Yao said. "Is there really superpowers in the world?" "Yes, sir," Zhong Luchuan said. "I have seen them before." This time, it was Wang Yao's turn to be surprised. "What kind of superpowers are like in the movies?" "It's not that exaggerated," Zhong Luchuan said. "I have only seen one. He has a strong resistance to fire. He can survive in the fire with almost no damage on his body, but he is also afraid of knives and guns. He can get sick and needs to eat." "Then, he can be a firefighter," Wang Yao said with a smile. Although his expression was very calm, his heart was very shocked. It turned out that in reality, some things were real. It was just that ordinary people could not come into contact with them. "I use kung fu," Wang Yao said. "Can kung fu really be practiced to the same level as you?" It was not that he had never seen a kung fu master who could kill with one move, 1 against 10, or even 1 against 100. These were all within the acceptable range. However, Wang Yao's move seemed to be beyond the scope of kung fu. It could even be said that it was a bit unreal. Disregarding everything else, the man on the other side had simply pressed down on the air and punched through the air. That man had lost the ability to resist and lost his life. There was no physical contact at all. Wasn't that incredible? "It should be fine, right?" Wang Yao said after thinking for a moment. His kung fu was mostly due to the natural classics that he had practiced. It could be said that he had improved his kung fu first, and then his kung fu skills. To put it in layman's terms, it was as if the starting point of cultivation was xianxia and wuxia. "Can you teach me?" Zhong Luchuan asked. "Teach you martial arts?" "Yes, I was too presumptuous. Nothing. I can try," Wang Yao said after thinking for a while. "Really? Really?" Of course, the natural classics could not be taught to outsiders. That was the rule of the system. However, he had touched the bottom line. For example, he could teach Su Xiaoxue a few words. "Master." "Hey, don't. I can teach you, but don't call me that," Wang Yao hurriedly refused. "How can that be?" "Why not? I have the final say in this matter." After chatting for a while, Zhong Luchuan said goodbye and left. "What's wrong? Have you accepted another disciple?" Wang Mingbao asked with a smile. He did not mean to, but he heard some of the words. Wang Yao did not speak. He just smiled and waved his hand. "Hey, what level have you reached in your kung fu?" He was also very curious about that. How should I put it? Wang Yao did not know how to say it. What was his current level? He did not know what the standards of kung fu were. "Shall we go out for a walk?" "Okay." The 2 of them went to the small courtyard. The wind blew. Wang Yao waved his hand. Then, the wind blew, making the bamboo, grass, and leaves in the courtyard rustle. Stop. He stood with one hand and the wind stopped. Damn, is this kung fu? Is this magic? Wang Mingbao was surprised. He knew that his brother had a lot of skills, but he did not expect that his skills had reached such a level. Can you teach me? You? Wang Yao looked at his brother with a smile. Why? I'm talented. You know that. Haha, your talent in doing business is indeed good, Wang Yao said with a smile. But, you are addicted to cigarettes and alcohol. You are busy doing business. You can't settle down to learn these things. More importantly, you have no foundation. If you start from scratch, at your current age, it will be difficult for you to achieve anything. So, I think you should give up. He felt that Wang Mingbao was not suitable to learn kung fu or practice. He was different from Su Xiaoxue. Su Xiaoxue was a very quiet person. She had experienced life and death, so she could see through some things. The main thing was that she had extraordinary talent. He was also different from Zhong Luchuan. Zhong Luchuan practiced kung fu freely and had a solid foundation. He could endure loneliness and hardship. He was also willing to stay there. He had plenty of time. Rather than give up halfway, it was better not to learn. TSK, is there a quick way to learn this thing? Quick way. Enlightenment, immortal entering a dream, Wang Yao said. You have watched too many movies, Wang Yao said. Hey, if that's not it, where did you get your skills from? Me? This is a reward from God, Wang Yao said. Besides, I used to practice day and night on Nanshan Hill. I also had an opportunity on the Great Wall. I comprehended some mysteries on the Temple of Heaven. This is my opportunity. Wang Yao smiled. It was the first time he had mentioned these things in front of others. Not to mention other things, Wang Mingbao might not be able to calm down and read the scriptures he had read. Ah, so mysterious? Wang Yao asked. Of course, Wang Yao said. Then, I'd better not learn. Wang Mingbao took out a cigarette box from his pocket. Smoke less of this, Wang Yao said. Well, okay. He put it back. Where is Ms. Han? Wang Yao asked. She is at home, Wang Yao said. So fast. Of course, Wang Yao said. A few days ago, in Tongdu, thousands of miles away on Dragon Tiger Mountain, several Taoist priests surrounded a bed in a wooden house. A patient was lying on the bed. He was wearing a Taoist robe. There was a charm on his chest outside the robe. His face was strangely blue and black. He was in a coma. What a powerful ghost, an old Taoist priest said. Master, what about Junior? Well, it can only keep him alive, the old Taoist priest said. Whether he can survive or not depends on his luck. Where are the other two people? They are still outside, the old Taoist priest said. At this time, Miao Sanding and Lu Sifang were waiting in the guest room. Senior, isn't Dragon Tiger Mountain a professional? How did this happen? People make mistakes, just as horses stumble, Miao Sanding said. Even professionals can't guarantee a 100% success rate. It's just like feng shui. Didn't we also make mistakes and cause such a disaster? It's all my fault. Until now, he had been deeply blaming himself. What does this have to do with you? Miao Sanding asked. If it weren't for me, the ancient tomb wouldn't have been dug out, and people wouldn't have died. There wouldn't have been a series of problems. It's getting worse and worse. Even the Taoist priests of Dragon Tiger Mountain were implicated. One is seriously injured, and the other is still on the mountain. You can't say that, Lu Sifang said. It's not implicating. A few Taoist priests came into the room. The leader was an old Taoist priest who looked to be in his 60s. His eyes were bright, as if they were hidden in the scabbard. Zhenren. No. The old Taoist priest hurriedly waved his hand. Since the reign of Emperor Hongwu of the Ming dynasty, only a few people have been worthy of this title, the old Taoist priest said. But they have all passed away. Your master and I are old friends. You can call him uncle. Chapter 724. Yes, uncle, Meow Sanding said. The last time he came to the mountain, he didn't see the current head of Longhu Mountain. Uncle, there is still a brother on the mountain, Meow Sanding said. I know, but I'm afraid he is dead, the old Taoist said. After a while, let my brother accompany you to the ancient tomb, the old Taoist priest said. He had not expected that there would be such a tomb nearby. There was actually such a terrifying thing inside. What was in it? Uncle, what about the injured brother? He has been treated, but whether he can survive depends on his luck, the old Taoist said. Uncle, we have also been to the tomb and were injured, Meow Sanding said. Although it was not so serious, the source is the same. Someone can treat this disease. Meow Sanding thought of Wang Yao just now. He could treat his and his brother's disease, so the old Taoist's disease should also be able to be treated. Really? You have to know this is not an ordinary disease, the old Taoist said. This disease had actually gone beyond the scope of ordinary pathology. It's true, Meow Sanding said. I'll go to Qi province right away and ask him to come and treat my brother. Can't you make a phone call? No, I have to ask him in person, the old Taoist said. Let my brother stay and accompany you to the ancient tomb. Ah! Lu Sifang was stunned. Okay, I'll arrange a ticket right away. The old Taoist immediately asked someone to book a ticket. Soon, the matter was settled. Online shopping was simple and fast. Now, even people like them, who practice Taoism, were keeping up with the times. Therefore, they divided into two groups. One group went to Qi province to ask someone to come to Longhu Mountain to treat the illness, and the other group went to the mountain village to deal with the ancient tomb. On the mountain village, the two of them looked to the east and to the west. They were very careful. Hey, I heard that this ancient tomb is very evil, the old Taoist said. Several people have died. Evil? What are you afraid of? See? Longhu Mountain invited him. A man with a monkey face held a folded triangular talisman. It has been consecrated to ward off evil spirits and drive away ghosts. Oh, is it illegal to rob a tomb? The other man was still a little hesitant. Why do you have so many problems? Do you still want to buy a house in the city? Do you still want to marry a wife? Do you still want to treat your family's old man? Okay, stop talking. Let's go. The two of them carefully walked towards the shed at the foot of the mountain. Hey, why is it so quiet? It was indeed very quiet on the mountain. There were no sounds of insects or bird. Hiss, do you feel cold? Can you shut the F***ck up? The monkey-faced man suddenly slapped his chest. What happened? This is... A hole was burned in his clothes, and the talisman paper that was originally hidden in his chest pocket was burned to ashes in an instant. Swoosh! The colorful cloth covering the outside of the shed suddenly swayed. Both of their faces turned pale. They were stunned and their minds went blank. Run! After regaining their senses, the two of them ran up the mountain on all fours. What ancient tomb! What fortune! What house! What wife! Nothing was more important than his life. The two of them climbed to the top of the mountain, then rolled and crawled down the mountain. After a long detour, they returned to another village at the foot of the mountain. They sat under a big tree at the entrance of the village, gasping for breath. He's still alive! He's still alive! Now, they didn't even dare to look at the mountain. As for what was in the ancient tomb on the mountain, they didn't dare to think about it. After regaining his senses, the monkey-faced man said, I'll go and talk to the village chief. Don't let anyone get close to the mountain. The sky gradually darkened. Near evening, a car drove into the mountain road and stopped in the mountain village. 4 people got out of the car. 3 of them were wearing Taoist robes. Uncle, this is the place. Let's go and have a look first, the leading old man said. Ah, now? Lu Sifong, who had brought them there, was surprised. Yes, now. Why? It's night now. There are ghosts on the mountain. We're here to subdue demons and eliminate demons. The old Taoist priest looked at Lu Sifong and said, "But aren't these things even more terrible at night? That's exactly why we're going to have a look. Let's go." The old Taoist priest went straight to the mountain. "Hey, uncle, wait for me." It was very quiet at night. The mountain under the night sky was even quieter. Jingle, jingle. When they arrived at the foot of the mountain, the bell hanging on the old Taoist priest's waist rang. "It's really an extraordinary ghost," the old Taoist priest said with a sigh. There were stones and trees at the foot of the mountain. The old Taoist priest chose a direction and pasted a piece of talisman paper on a mountain rock. Then, the bell on his waist rang less. He continued to walk around the mountain. When he reached another position, he pasted another piece of talisman paper on a tree. The bell rang even less. In this way, they walked half a circle around the mountain and pasted 4 pieces of talisman paper. Then, they went up the mountain. Lu Sifong swallowed his saliva. He could vaguely see the shed. "Don't come out. Don't come out. Don't come out. Don't come out." Fortunately, the old Taoist priest didn't continue to go forward. Instead, he walked around the shed again. In several directions around the shed, he pasted talisman paper on the trees and rock. There were exactly 8 pieces of talisman paper in the 8 directions of the shed, which coincided with the position of the 8 trigrams. Together with the 4 pieces of talisman paper at the foot of the mountain, they formed a battle array. "Let's go down." "Oh, okay." Hearing this, Lu Sifong breathed a sigh of relief. They went down the mountain and found a family in the village to stay for the night. On the other side, Miao Sanding flew to Dao overnight and took a taxi directly from Dao to Lianshan County. It was late at night and quiet. The road was wide and the taxi was running fast. "Brother, you are traveling at night. Is there anything urgent?" the taxi driver asked. It was more than 100 kilometers from Dao to Lianshan County. Some of the highways took more than 2 hours each way. At this time, he had to find a topic to talk about to avoid dozing off. "Yes, it's urgent," Miao Sanding said. He was indeed very anxious. It was a matter of life and death. How could he not be anxious? "Where are you from?" the taxi driver asked. "Hangzhou," Miao Sanding said. "I have been there," the taxi driver said. "Sanqing Mountain, Longhu Mountain, the holy land of Taoism. Hey, do the Taoists there really know magic?" "Yes," Miao Sanding said. He was not in the mood to chat with the taxi driver. When he arrived in Lianshan County, it was already 3 o'clock in the morning. It was not easy to find a hotel at this time. He finally found one and slept for less than 3 hours. He got up before 6 o'clock and then took a taxi to the mountain village. When the sun had just risen, he was already outside the medical center. "Hey, so early?" Zhong Luchuan, who came out for a jog, saw him. He looked at him carefully and then went to the mountain for his morning exercise. Miao Sanding lit a cigarette and looked at his watch after a few minutes. "Hey, it's almost time to get up." After hesitating for a while, he picked up the phone and called Wang Yao. "So early." Wang Yao was not angry because of the early call. After hearing Miao Sanding's intention and knowing that he was at the foot of the mountain, he went down the mountain. When he saw Wang Yao, Miao Sanding had smoked 5 cigarettes. He was willing to go down the mountain and take the first step. "Sorry to disturb you. You came overnight?" Wang Yao asked. "Yes, it's a matter of life and death," Miao Sanding said. This sentence made Wang Yao have a good impression of him. "Come in and talk." He opened the door of the clinic and poured a glass of water for Miao Sanding. He could see that Miao Sanding had not eaten breakfast, so drinking tea was not appropriate. "I am here to ask you to make a house call." Miao Sanding took a sip of water. "A house call?" He listened to Miao Sanding tell him what had happened. 3 people died? He did not expect the matter to be so serious. I am afraid that the senior is not well, Miao Sanding said. The other one is on Longhu Mountain and is in danger. Please save him no matter what. If you have any requests, please tell me. Wang Yao calmly looked at the man who was full of anxiety. To be honest, he was very curious about this matter. Not only was he curious about this unique, strange disease, but he also wanted to see what the so-called ghost was. He really wanted to see what it was. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.